Royal in Connecticut has this to say: Keith Linder is always a great guest, and I find his story to be amazing. Unfortunately, he has not always been treated fairly by some people in the paranormal community, but I, for one, absolutely believe him. Like you said last night, Heather, Art would say, let's not be too quick to look down our noses at the fantastic. Yeah, that's right, Royal. That is absolutely right. And just to add to what Royal is saying there, I have always believed Keith Linder's story. It's not even a story. It's the life that he has been dealing with. It's the life he has been dealing with. And the man is simply telling us what he has been going through. And so with that, allow me a moment here to properly introduce our very, very kind and interesting, distinguished guest tonight. Keith Linder is an IT professional. His hobbies are fishing, sports, football, basketball, the outdoors, movies, sci-fi, and he is a proud geek. In 2012, he and his girlfriend moved into a house in the suburb of Seattle, Washington. The phenomena they witnessed while living there ended up changing their lives forever. Not only that, but it also put them at odds with members of the paranormal community. The evidence and stories you are about to view and listen to tonight will no doubt have a profound effect on you, as it did Keith Linder and his family when they moved into the beautiful Bothell home. This is his story, and this is his evidence, and it is a true honor to welcome Keith Linder back onto the program once again. Welcome to the show, Keith. How you holding up over there?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm sheltered in place, live from the outskirts of Seattle. I'm doing pretty good.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear your voice there. Before we get too deep into this, Keith, have you moved from the Bothell Hell House because you have an interesting, unique problem that the rest of us don't have in a quarantine type lockdown? You get locked down, and that could be very difficult for you with what's going on in your house. Did you move, or are you there?
Yeah, I moved from the, thank God, by the way. I cannot imagine living in the Bothell house under COVID self-quarantine. But yeah, I moved May 2016.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And I've been living outside of the Bothell house. I moved twice. Just recently moved June of last year, but I still live in Bothell, the city, but not the Bothell Hell House, no.
Okay, well, I just had to find that out right off the bat because it occurred to me while in the hour before I'm getting ready to get on here, I thought, hang on, wait a minute, are you quarantined in that house with all of that going on? Okay, so that is good to know, but okay, so then we just have to unfold this story, Keith. Where would you like to begin? Because I kind of know how this started, but I also know between right now, tonight, and the last time we talked, some other things have happened. Where would you like to start with all of this?
I'd like to give the listeners, those who are unfamiliar or might be tuning in the first time, a quick synopsis of, why I'm here. I think it's the second time you and I have talked, or maybe the third time, but, yeah, and you said it in your intro, May 2012, Tina, my ex-girlfriend, or girlfriend at the time, we moved into the suburbs of Seattle. I'm an IT project manager. Moved into a beautiful home, almost a brand new home. A lot of people don't know that. This home was built in 2005. And almost on day one, we started having activity, which is sort of unusual or contradictory to what's known about poltergeist homes. We were met with a inexplicable kid cough the day we picked up the keys, signed the leasing papers to the home, and maybe about an hour into sort of getting a feel of the home, we heard a kid cough, and it was very loud, very, very distinct. Tina looked at me, I looked at her, and we asked each other the same question almost at the same exact time. Was that a kid cough? And the house was virtually empty. I mean, this is the empty house, no furniture, no power on, nothing is on in the home. This is a empty home, as it should be. And it sounded like it came from upstairs. This is a 2-story house. Windows are closed. We shrugged it off, obviously. Neither one of us had any experience or knowledge of how the paranormal works. I later learned that the kid cough was a sort of, I don't know, hello there, if you will, of things to come. But it was very real. It was very distinct. The fact that our 4 ears heard it lets us know it was very real. But we shrugged it off. And fast forward 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we're moving in. And almost like the websites we went to said when we started having activity early on was objects missing. Now, Heather, the objects that were missing for me were my extra set of car keys, Tina's jewelry, both of our silverware. And you don't never walk around the house doing a search for these items because we have no kids. So if they're missing, they're missing. You don't do a send a search party out for missing forks or knives. You just grab another one and go along about your daily lives. But you do make a mental note, a conversation with your significant other about, I could have sworn we had more silverware than this when we moved in. But once again, we deduced it to, hey, things go missing when you're moving. It happens. Obviously, we did a poor job of packing. My car keys, Tina's jewelry, they'll turn up sooner or later. Just for the record, nothing ever turns up sooner or later. These objects are still missing to this day. I would love to know where my car keys are right now, as well as Tina's jewelry. And the silverware, go figure. I would love to know where those things are. And they might be popping up in other people's homes, undergoing similar activity. But the things this case got known for, and what some of your listeners are familiar with, is you fast forward a year and a half, 2 years of us having activity, what I classify as a level 1. Then we start getting into the violence, what I call extraneous malevolent activity of 3 Bibles caught fire, a poster on the wall in my office caught fire, large objects being thrown. I'm talking about furniture, household appliances, ironing board, lamp that rests on the lamp table by your bedside, lamp that rests on the lamp table in the living room, all of Tina's pottery that she brought into the home. I had no plants when I moved in, but Tina did. All of those getting thrown, not only in front of us. One of the things that I like people to know is, because they always tell me, well, who's seen this stuff? Who do you got on record? And I tell them, well, our friends, our beloved friends who we had over, like most people you have over for a housewarming party or dinner or whatever, they seen with their own eyes plants that are perfectly resting for no reason at all fly across the room and crash upon impact as soon as they hit the wall. We had a housewarming party on my book 1. I think I titled the chapter Housewarming Party, the Bothell Hell House book, of us having individuals in. This is June or July of 2012. And it's about 12 people there. And toward the end of the evening, the end of the night, it's only maybe 4 to 6 of us there, Tina's friends. And they were in a better position than us to see the plant fly across the room and crash upon impact. And they saw with their own eyes. And to this very day, they will state that. And others have heard the loud bangs, the phantom footsteps, the aport or teleport of objects out of nowhere. But yeah, so these are the things like you're familiar with and others are familiar with, but maybe some new listeners might not be familiar with, that changed my life forever. I was not one who dove into the paranormal. I may occasionally watch a scary movie during Halloween, but I don't consider Friday the 13th or Halloween paranormal. Those are just slash flicks. But if you told me a ghost story, I would love to hear it. But I was always 50-50. I became very, I guess my IQ about the paranormal, especially the term poltergeist and malevolent and the word apparition and what's the difference between apparition and a ghost and what's an intelligent haunting versus residual haunting. These things are foreign to me. These are foreign to the average day citizen, but you learn them as you get more paranormal teams in. Everybody starts troubleshooting as to what type of activity you're having, when did it begin, what's the land underneath the house like, what's the house like, what are your neighbors saying. So all that and above is what probably this case is known for, in addition to what you said, introduction of the infamous Demons in Seattle episode on Ghost Adventures, which aired February, I believe, 28th of 2015. That episode, which sort of, I guess, gave a small percentage, sizable percentage of the paranormal community a negative response to me and Tina's claims. We really caught a lot of negative feedback through no fault of our own, but the fault was Ghost Adventures didn't find anything. Therefore, it's Keith and Tina's fault. Go figure. But we caught a lot of slack for that. And I still to this day don't understand why, when you take into account Ghost Adventures was only in the home for 5 hours. I mean, and that's 5 hours of investigating.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all Ghost Adventures. They don't put that in before or after the episode when the credits roll. I kind of wish they did, but
yeah,
no,
I think they should. I think that's important information.
That, I mean, you see the episode and you think they were there, hardcore investigation days, if not weeks. I mean, you see Dave Schrader standing underneath the monorail in Seattle, leaning on the fence, and Zach meets him on the corner of the street, and they shake hands, and it looks like the guys are, our house is 20 miles from where they're standing. And but people are not privy to that information, and it comes off when you see it for the 45 minutes that it lasts of, oh, those guys were there a long time and they didn't find out, Keith and Tina are lying. No, they were only there 5 hours now.
I've spent more time than that just interviewing you.
Yeah, exactly. Combine all you and I's conversations online and offline. Yes, yeah, you have, and a lot of people have, and like I said, we caught slack for that. Like I said, they don't divulge that as a disclaimer, and I don't understand why. I think listeners and viewers or fans of the show would appreciate to know that investigations in the paranormal are hard. They're extreme. It requires time consuming. Mm-hmm. You don't first go around, second go around, third go around. I don't know why they felt that was a negative against them for not finding anything, when the sense of when you come to a Poltergeist house like me and Tina had, you're pretty much, as Steve Merritt, parapsychologist Steve Merritt said it perfectly, you're pretty much arriving after the fact. Okay? Mm-hmm. Here we are having hell or catching hell for 2 years. And everybody knows Poltergeist phenomena runs on a bell curve. There's a spike in activity, there's a lull, and it tapers off. Mm-hmm. By the time the researcher arrives on the scene, they're arriving on after the fact data. That's what got their attention. It's finally reached the apex to where it's got the media involved. It's got friends of friends of friends of friends involved. I know someone who knows someone who knows someone. Let me give you some help. And everybody's spinning their wheels. And by the time it catches the ear and eye of the paranormal researcher, some of the activity, or what the activity is known for, has subsided. Ghost Adventures, to their discredit, came in looking for burnt Bibles, looking for flying couches, looking for wall writings. You're not going to get that as a researcher. Now, you can still get some anomalies and some other stuff, but it's very rare. I mean, you're just not going to get the burnt Bible. You can bring 20 Bibles with you. They're not going to catch fire. That's reserved for the people who live there. And like I said, 5 hours is, even I knew that being an IT with no paranormal experience, 5 hours is not enough time.
Not enough time at all. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had somebody show up here, a few months ago, wanting to make a documentary out at my house out here in the desert. And gentleman spent actually a week or two and didn't really pick up much, if anything at all. and then left, and well, there's nothing going on there. And then, I don't know, over the weekend, there's been some weird things. Water in the bathroom came on by itself, just a couple weird things. Sometimes, Keith, in a house like you lived in also, you need to spend a lot of time in there, and the things that may happen may be small or may seem small and mundane, but they are still unexplained.
Yeah, and in other teams, Steve Mayer, Don Phillips, they lived in a home, and that for 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks is a considerable amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. team led by Nikki Novell, they were there 3.5 weeks. They were there a month. They lived in the home, and I would go to work. House is theirs. I would travel out of state, out of city. The house is theirs,
mm-hmm.
and they would have activity or get evidence with me, 3,000 miles away, which is a paranormal investigator's dream because it rules me out as hoaxing or fakery. So therefore, they did that. And when I saw the itinerary of, the Ghost Adventures, and it's not me sticking it to them, but this is just the truth. They gave me the itinerary a month or so before they arrived, and me and Tina looked it over, and we saw how they divided the teams up. It was B-roll and A-team.
Mm-hmm.
The B-roll arrived Monday through Thursday. That's the people who do the reenactments and all that stuff, the interviews, and hire actors to play Tina, to play me, and to play the preacher or the reverend who came to bless the house. So they do all that stuff in 3.5 days. And then at the very bottom, it tells you when Zach and crew are to arrive. And they're regarded as the A-team, but not because they arrived first, but they arrived second, and they arrived that Thursday, late Thursday, and they're out of there Friday morning. And they're quick and fast. They're really, they're quick and fast. What the show is famous for is the lockdown, and that's pretty much all they do. Is we're gonna put you guys in a hotel, we're gonna lock it down 5 hours, and that was it. And I looked at Tina, she looked at me, and I was like, wow. I could drive to Portland in 3 hours and almost be back to Bothell if I make a U-turn, but 5 hours. So I knew them, but what I didn't know, because this was in November when they came,
mm-hmm.
the episode aired till February, was how it was going to be a negative against us. That I did not see coming, because I could easily understand. I would tell anybody, even them, hey, 5 hours, you might not get much, but when you tell me, hey, we tried, we came, we saw, we didn't conquer hoaxing, you don't say that in words, but you imply, and people who have told me who watched the episode, I was not familiar with the episode, told me by watching the episode for years that they've never seen them do that to a house occupant. Neither
have I. How
they ran you and Tina. It was almost like it was too good to be true when they got there. Nobody not familiar with the show told me that they've never seen them do that before. This is new for them, and a lot of people had to reevaluate because they were like, whoa, wow, you guys are.
Well, look, Keith, I would think if they didn't find anything that they simply would not air. They don't have an episode. They don't have a show. I mean, it's as simple as that. There's no need to sort of pick on you guys or single you out in some way. And it's so unfortunate that this is how paranormal community has treated you. And it's so unfortunate that this is the state of investigations today. We'll come back, Keith, and we'll talk about this. But it sort of breaks my heart that here is Keith Linder, most unlikely person to go through and experience something like this. And then he, in good faith, goes and some people come to him offering help, offering to investigate, maybe get down to the bottom of what's going on. And then he is dismissed in this way. It's heartbreaking. Truly, truly is. You're going to hear all about it tonight. We're going to give Keith Linder his fair shake to tell his story. We got to run to a break, but we'll be right back to just get this story unfolded on the air for all of you. You're going to want to hear this. I'm Heather Wade. Nothing's wrong.
gonna drive you home tonight? Who's gonna pick you up when you fall? Who's gonna hang it up when you call? Who's gonna pay attention to your dream? Yeah, who's gonna plug their ears when you scream?
It has taken me all my life to understand the dynamics of the universe, to make sense of quantum physics, to come to grips with particles like the Higgs boson. But there are still many mysteries out there. For instance, did you know that it is actually possible to own a brand new Volkswagen from only 7,995 pounds? It does my head in.
The Volkswagen Up. Unbelievable value.
When you're in the house for longer periods of time, you can see them flying or running across the floor. Ooh, yuck. They're unhealthy, gross, and disgusting. Bugs. I loathe bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. On contact, it kills hidden bugs, including ants, roaches, and fleas. Plus, Orange Guard is a residual repellent. All of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally recognized as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard. Available at orangeguard.com, Whole Foods, and Ace Hardware.
In a world where everyone's on and no one's unplugged, where being busy is a badge of honor, where the race from the gym to the office to the carpool and to the kitchen is unrelenting, when your spouse asks, what should we do for dinner? And your boss demands, I need this ASAP every single day. And silence and solitude is only achieved when your phone battery dies. We bring you a new kind of hero. Nothing. Yes, nothing. Just nothing. Nada. No phone. No Netflix, no cooking, no laundry, no Snapchat, no scrolling, no swiping left or right. Nothing is here to save you. Coming to a quiet space near you this February.
If you've traveled some around the country, chances are you've heard a lot of talk about talk radio.
Insane idea that the government is better able to
But we
spend
thought
our money.
you might like to hear the sound of talk radio in other parts of the world. In Kigali, in Sarajevo, in Beijing. Fact is, the right to speak your mind, to agree or disagree with principalities and governments, is a unique American privilege. At 770 KKOB, we're proud to provide you a platform for that privilege every day of the week. So go ahead, step up to the telephone, and talk to the world.
Thanks for taking my call. I feel
770 KKOB, Albuquerque.
Ladies and gentlemen, May I have your attention, please?
Taking you from today into tomorrow, this is the Kingdom of Nye with Heather Wade. To call the show, dial 1-775-298-5600. That's 1-775-298-5600. First-time callers are always welcome at 1-775-293-4500. That's 1-775-293-4500.
Well, as I said earlier, if you have ever questioned supernatural activity, poltergeist activity, well, after you hear what Keith Linder has to say, you may not question it nearly as much as you did before. His is one story that does tend to change people's minds. If they don't believe in the unseen, if they don't believe in any of this sort of a thing, listen to the man talk. Again, he is the least likely person for any of this to happen to, but that is sometimes how the paranormal works. It finds you, even if you don't want it. Welcome back. Welcome back, Keith. Again, it's so nice to have you back on the show, to hear your voice again, to hear that you sound in pretty good spirits. But with everything that you went through with Ghost Adventures, that must have taken a toll on you and your girlfriend, did it not?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, by the time they came and left, Ghost Adventures came and left, we really could not deal with any more major setbacks in regards to unqualified paranormal teams coming in, people not showing up to conduct an investigation, and us dealing with the activity itself. Like I said, the thing that we never prepared for, that I never took stock in, was the possibility that we would be labeled the tricksters, the hoaxers, by the result of a 45-minute episode. And just for your listeners, so they can sort of get a sort of glimpse of that, of what that means. I mean, we were called all kind of names and whatnot and epithets on social media. And I know, and the average person can say, all you have to do is, you turn away, turn that stuff off. Yeah, but keep in mind, we still have not resolved the poltergeist problem. And therefore, teams who were communicating with us via email, via Skype, via whatever, caught wind of that episode, just totally turned a blind eye after the episode aired. Some being through affiliation, some being, well, if they didn't find it, therefore nothing is there. Nobody wanted to really dig deep after that, so therefore we were sort of isolated. And it takes a toll on you. I mean, the poltergeist is not going to stop. They're not going to give you a breathing room and say, oh, poor Keith, poor Tina, and they didn't believe you. Okay, we'll lay off a week. No, they're going to pile it on even more. And that's what they did. And we're at our wits' end, finger pointing. We're tired. We're sleep deprived. We're accusing each other of the bad decision we done made. And yeah, so Tina, unfortunately, our relationship dissolved soon after that episode aired. Matter of fact, within the same week, it dissolved. And so it was sort of the last straw on the camel's back, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's in reading other poltergeist cases, that's generally what happens. Something's got to give in the household, husband, wife, kid, or whatever. Something's going to give. It's not going to be a happy ending. This is not going to be something that you see on Disney or Hollywood to say, aha, both couples right off into the sunset. No, this is going to have a tragic ending. And it did in more ways than one. So and that was one spoke in the will, if you will, as to what happened soon after.
My God. I hesitate to ask what happened soon after. I hesitate to ask what you've been dealing with since the last time you and I spoke. As I understand it, there's more going on. I mean, I remember talking to you, and yes, there were many dramatic things that you described happening in the home. One of the first things you described to me is you and your girlfriend are sitting on the couch, you're watching something on television, and one of the house plants just lifts itself up, spins around, and falls on the floor. And I was stunned, just stunned to hear that. And so, I know that there are more things, but I don't remember last time you talking about shadow beings, and now I guess you're talking about shadow beings.
Yeah, and I'm glad, because that's a good question. That's what one of the reasons why there is a book 2. The last time I spoke to you was for book 1, the Bothell Hell House Portugal, and there was a lot of information in it. I mean, it's 430 something odd pages. A lot of information in that book from start to finish. I mean, I think you analyzed a lot of the EVPs in your own private research and brought some back to me, and you were like splicing and dicing them up, and you're like, dude, these are some crazy EVPs, dude. And so all that's in book 1, but I think when you and I were talking, I had just recently moved out of the Bothell house. And one of the questions I'm often asked while living in the Bothell house, and to be honest, this played sort of a role as to why I stuck there so long. And this question I often got asked was, will you be followed? What's going to happen if you move? And what are you going to do if they follow you? And I didn't really have an answer to that, because there's one thing dealing with this horror in the house that you live in now. It's a whole nother can of worms on your psyche when you have to deal with it once you move, because now you realize, now they're following me. We failed to remove them in the home that I was living in. It's safe to say the odds of removing them once I move is going to be significantly less. So that was one of the questions that was asked. And I did move. I moved May of 2016, spent 4 years in the Bothell house. And there was phenomena. There was poltergeist activity in my new place of residence on day one, in keeping with their modus operandi of doing something always on day one. The first day I moved in, or the first morning after I woke up in my new place of residence, was the water puddles, the strange appearance of water dripping from a dry ceiling onto my kitchen table. Me and Tina had water puddle phenomena one time in the Bothell house. So I was familiar with this when I saw it happening in real time. And it was happening in real time. It was about 5 a.m. or so in the morning, like May 8th or May 7th. And I'm living in a dwelling unit. I'm living in an apartment unit. Now, therefore, I wanted to capture the phenomena, meaning I wanted to get other eyes and ears on it. So I immediately dialed the 911 maintenance hotline and told them, because I'm a new tenant, I knew they would respond right away. Mm-hmm. This water leaking from my ceiling. And they were there right away. Nobody wants to have a new tenant get buyer's or renter's remorse, so they were quick, fast, in a hurry that early in the morning, especially if you tell them water's coming from the ceiling. And they came in, opened the door, and I just want to, I didn't want to leak to the idea of poltergeist, but I sort of knew in the back of my mind this is what this was. But hey, I'm not gonna leak to that. Definitely not gonna tell them. I'm gonna let their experience guide them through the process of what's going on. And it was two mechanics who arrived in, and they looked at the water. It was still dripping when they walked in. About 30 minutes later, it was still dripping from the ceiling onto my kitchen table. And I'm on the first floor, as the floor above me. So they said, well, stay here. We'll go talk to the people upstairs. We'll see if we can get permission to walk in. Maybe they got a busted pipe or dishwasher or aquarium or whatever. Okay, go do that. I knew they were going to come back empty. I just knew that, like the fire department when my poster caught fire. So go do what you got to do, man. So they go do that. They come back 15 minutes later, empty-handed. Hey, nothing nefarious up there. And they're like, there's no pipes between floors. There's no pipes between your ceiling and their floor. We don't know where that water is coming from. And Heather, I kid you not, I remember when he put his finger where the water was dripping on the ceiling. He put his finger up. He's like, it's dry. He's like,
oh God.
And I'm just shaking my head internally because this is 2016. I've read enough parapsychology poltergeist books to know water puddle phenomena, albeit rare, has been reported. And one of the bullet points underneath strange water puddle appearances is the surface is always dry. And there's no rationale for that. There's no physics for that. And he said it, not me. And he got his friends. Well, you stay here. I'm going to get some water detection equipment. I never heard of that, but plumbers and contractors, what is called water, they can train or locate the source of where the water's coming. So he brings all this gear in, and trail runs cold, and they don't find it. And the only thing they could tell me is what the fire department told me after the poster caught fire 2 years prior is, if it happens again, call us. That's all people can tell you. And it never happened again, but I contacted the apartment manager months later because I wanted the report. I wanted the physical PDF of how they wrote that up. I'm always curious, because I have the fire department report, I have the police reports, and I'm always curious about how do they write that stuff up in their own language.
Yeah.
And they were very honest. They said, hey, responded to domestic call, such and such, water puddle dripping from the ceiling, arrived there, water dry on the surface, dry to the touch, unknown source, stopped on its own. That's it.
Unknown source. Unknown source. Yeah, well, you gotta love that. My God. But it has to do something for you when there's another person there, third party there, never seen any of this before, doesn't know you, and they're looking at the phenomena with their own eyes.
Yeah, because they're genuine. They're genuine, like me and Tina were genuine when the plant levitated. I mean, you get the genuine reaction. And that's the reaction that I wanted, and that's the reaction that I wanted to capture in their report. And just for your listeners to know, that report is included in book 2. That's why I asked the apartment manager for it, because I want listeners and viewers to see other people's handwriting of what they saw when they saw it. In their words, not mine, is unknown source. And all they can say is, if it happens again, call us. Because like I said, the water didn't drip forever. It dripped for 30, 45 minutes and it stopped. And all right, no harm done. Your table's dry now. We don't know what happened, where that came from, but if it happens again, call us.
Don't let the demons kill you in your sleep,
Yeah, but they don't know I'm the Bothell guy. They have not Googled Keith Linder. They did. They were probably put 2 and 2 together, but they don't know, and I'm praying at the time they don't know because, like I said, I just moved into this place. It's an apartment community. If you Google Keith Linder, you're going to see poster fire, burnt Bibles, and fires and all that stuff. You're going to be like, oh, my God, we got the Bothell Hell guy in our apartment. Oh, my God, he brought his ghost with him. So I was not necessarily hoping that they would Google my name, but I did want them to troubleshoot based on their experience and their job title, and then document, and like they always do, man. They come into your dwelling, they're going to fill out a report, they're going to officialize it, and make a report and go into the file cabinet. Because like I said, if it happens again, we'll come back. We'll bring other people in. But yeah, so that was on day one. The other phenomena in my new place, and this has never really left me. This is the one that I'm dealing with to this day, even right now, is the shadows. And by shadows, I don't mean just not only seeing them out the corner of my eye. I mean the shadow figures, what I call them, of the poking and prodding while sleeping, the pulsating mattress, the indentation of the mattress. I mean, you're sleeping, you're about to clock out and you really got that sleep on you, and all of a sudden you feel like it's like somebody dropped a bowling ball on your mattress while you're about to close your eyes. And you're about to doze off and you feel that mattress go down, like somebody's sitting on the edge of your bed. And the mattress goes down. The bed does squeak. There's a squeak there. And your eyes dart open. I live alone. And you're like, whoa.
Well, Keith, when something like that happened, we tend to think of our homes as the one safe place, the one refuge that we have from this insane world that we live. Well, it's not insane all the time. Lately, it seems to be ramping up. But usually we think of our homes as the one place we can be that is safe. And it's one thing to be robbed and deal with that, to have your place broken into or something and deal with that. It's something else entirely to have some unseen thing in your house. At that point, when something like that happens to you, Keith, there is now no safety anywhere. How do you deal with that?
It's going on, 6 years? So, I'm forced to admit, complacent, shrug it off, sleep through it, ignore it, hold my eyes open when I wake up again 8 hours later. But, there's 2 chapters in my new book, and they're side by side. One's called Nightmares and one's called Night Terrors. And I distinguish very clearly the difference between the two. And I let the reader know what my nightmares are like. The pulsation, it's like a rapid heartbeat. You feel it on the mat. You picture where the indentation is. If you were to press palm over that, you hear that heartbeat. You hear it. And if you doze off and go to sleep and wake up 4, 5, 6 hours later, that heartbeat has migrated to your pillow. Okay, this is the scariest thing I have ever heard in my life. It's now same. I mean, it's pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. It's next to your pillow. It's next to your elbow, your wrist. You feel like mini sandbags draping over you. On a bad day, it feels like a heavy quilt draping over you. It feels much heavier, but on any other day, and it's multiple now. It's no less. It's multiple. It's like 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, depending what day it is, and it's just heartbeat, 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 heartbeat. Now, what your listeners get to benefit, my horror is your listeners' benefit, because the IT in me comes out. The troubleshooting comes out during this episode of my new place of residence, and I go online and I bought very highly sensitive, sound sensitive, very expensive digital stethoscopes. One is Think Lab and one is called the Echo stethoscope. Anybody can Google them and you'll see these are crazy, state-of-the-art, expensive digital stethoscopes. They can magnify the heartbeat 100 times. Yeah. And they store it digitally. They're Bluetooth enabled, their Wi-Fi capability, because it makes no difference if I hear it, if I can't relay it to you or anybody else I'm telling the story to, because I bring this information to investigators, to Steve and others, and I want them to hear what I hear. I hear it with the naked ear because my ear is pressed against the pillow. But an analog stethoscope does nothing. I need a digital. So I found 2 and I captured them. I captured the heartbeats on my digital stethoscopes, on both of them. I just simply put them underneath my pillow or mattress during the duration of my sleeping, or when I'm not in the bed, because there's always a a remnant of the heartbeats doesn't dissipate immediately when I get up in the morning. It will hang around for about a half an hour wherever I'm sleeping. And I recorded those, and I've included the YouTube videos in the book where listeners can listen to the heartbeats themselves.
Where?
Now, of course, before
where is that? Is that you said that's on YouTube? The heartbeat is on YouTube?
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, there's over 600 videos, including the heartbeat ones, and they're titled, I think they're called Demons in Seattle Heartbeats.
Okay.
Or the Washington State Heartbeats. And there's 3 of them because I did 3 experiments over a 2-year period, especially when it got bad beyond belief. And I interchanged the stethoscopes, so I was able to capture them. But nothing gets uploaded to YouTube until I vet them because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician. I have to filter these through the medical community because I want the medical community to tell me, number one, these are not human heartbeats, number one.
Yeah.
The beats I've captured, and your listeners want to say, listen for themselves. You probably got some who are in the medical field, nurse, EMT, doctor, fireman, or whoever, who know enough about heartbeats to distinguish human heartbeats from any other heartbeat. And these heartbeats, none of them are under 120 beats per minute. All of them are very rapid fire. And people who've listened to them have told me, they're using words like fibrillation and AFib and all these things and diagnosing it like valve this, valve that. But they're telling me distinctively, if you go by the beats per minute alone, an animal beats per minute would have to be the size of a small cat, small dog. That's the beats per minute for the type of heartbeats that you're capturing.
Okay, I think I found one of these videos. It says poltergeist heartbeats. Is that one of them?
That's one of them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of them.
Now, this is a 6.5 minute video here. I don't mean this in a bad way, but are there any cuss words in this video?
No, because it's not so much me talking, it's just me going through the mundane of an average night's sleep or whatever, getting prep work, setting up, providing info, and maybe halfway toward the end, the heartbeats are there. But yeah, there's about 3 of them there. If you found a 6-minute one, that might be the most recent one. Some are about an hour and a half long.
I
Some
see.
are 45 minutes
really?
long.
Well, because I want to play this on the air. We got to run to a break right now. But if we're going to talk about it, and you have videos, gosh, we got to play this. I got to hear this. This is just beyond unsettling. Keith.
It might not be hearable via radio. It's definitely hearable if you got headsets on, if you block out background noise. Coming through audio, radio, multiple systems and microphones. I don't know. It might be listenable, but definitely one-on-one, headset, TV off, kids quiet. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll do that then when we come back from the break. If you just, I'm a little nervous about what we're about to hear here. I wish I would have had an opportunity to maybe go through this audio before we got on the air, but that's all right. That's all right. We'll take a break here, Keith. When we come back, maybe you can tell me where to skip ahead in the video or something like that, so that we can hear this. Can you imagine heartbeats in your bed that stay there even after you get up? We're gonna give this a test drive when we come back. If Keith has captured this evidence, I see no reason why we shouldn't give it a listen. Maybe over the break you might want to grab your headset. I did see one of his videos there. It says, use the headset. We're going to try this one when we come back. I am definitely wearing my headset, and I do have quite a bit of control of the volume over here. We may be able to increase the volume so everybody can hear it. Well, if you're not on the edge of your seat by now, I'm not really sure what's going to do it for you. I certainly am, and I'm Heather Wade. We'll be right back with Keith Linder.
No, I don't wanna fall in love with you. With you. What a wicked game to play to make me feel this way. What a wicked thing to do to let me dream of you. What a wicked thing to say.
Hi, Tom Bodette. Experts say the less than terrific economy has spawned a new trend toward value and saving money. Well, I guess that would officially make Motel 6, still the home of clean, comfortable rooms for the lowest price of any national chain, way ahead of the curve. Being smart with your money has never been cooler, and if being hip and trendy is wrong, I don't want to be right. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Athletic Groin Protector Inventor.
Mr. Athletic Groin Protector Inventor.
People love to play sports, but they don't love it when they get hit in the twig and berries.
Oh!
For years, cringing fans watched as man after man went down. But then you came along and said, here, stick this in your pants.
Nice to meet you.
The errant headbutt, the inside fastball, the wayward high five. All no match for your crash helmet.
I'll bring it on.
Sure, some athletes shun them, but don't worry, they'll come around.
Show us the way.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light protector of the package and know that we're just nuts about you.
We're just nuts.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
Morning face. You get it when you don't sleep well. This is what happened to Linda.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Ah, what is that thing?
It's me, Linda.
Oh my God, it talks! Run!
No, it's me, Linda from HR.
It looks hungry! Save the children! Save them!
What?
Stay back, I've got mace!
Ow, that went in my eyes.
Quit moving!
It's called beauty sleep for a reason. And there's never been a better time to get some.
IKEA. Love your home.
When you were growing up, the boogeyman was just a fantasy.
It had its own power.
The boogeyman. The boogeyman. He's here. Now. By the time they believe in him, it will be too late. The Boogeyman. Rated R.
Now playing at a theater or drive-in?
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
We have ignition.
got some bad news this morning, which in turn made my day. When someone spoke, I listened. All of a sudden had less and less to say. Oh, how could this be? But all this time I've lived vicariously. Who's gonna save my son now? Who's gonna save my son now? How will my story ever be told now? How will my story be told now? Made me feel like somebody, like somebody else. And although he was imitated often, still felt like I was being myself. Is it a shame that someone else's song is totally, completely dependent on? Who's gonna save my son now?
What's said in the dark stays in the dark. Call the Kingdom of Nye with your host Heather Wade at 1-775-298-5600. That's 1-775-298-5600. First-time callers are welcome at 1-775-293-4500. That's 1-775-293-4500.
Thank you, Ross. You know, Keith Linder is kind of guest. You bring Keith on, and there's a very recognizable pattern. I start to get messages that go a little bit like this. You know, not a whole lot scares me, Heather, but I'm scared. Yeah, that is what happens when you bring on Keith Linder. And welcome back, Keith. I actually have a specific message here that I wanted to deliver to you in my looking glass here that I have. Royal in Connecticut says, okay, Keith just officially blew my mind with the heartbeat story. It's not that easy to scare me, but I have to admit that got to me. Whenever you come on, this is what people say. And so there is only one thing to do here now. Keith really sprung this one on me, but you tend to do that, so it's okay. It's all right. Okay, so I've got this video up here, Poltergeist-Heartbeats. It's 6 minutes, 24 seconds long. Where should I skip ahead in the video to hear what you're describing?
Go to 42 seconds. That's where I'm at. I, during the break, was logged online, and I'm at the video now. So if you go to 42 seconds, and I'll explain what you are seeing, because I was talking about the echo stethoscope, and and of course, all digital things come with software. So the benefit about the echo stethoscope is, like I said, immediately once it captures our heartbeat, and just for the record, these stethoscopes are not meant for the paranormal. They're for our hearts, right? So,
sure.
But that's what I'm using them for. Therefore, imagine a physician or a doctor or a nurse, whoever. What you see right here on this screen, you see sample patient 1. That's what I titled it.
Sure.
It automatically stores the heartbeat onto the cloud. It saves it onto the cloud, so a doctor can share with his colleagues and peers of a rhythmic heartbeat or whatever. But as you can see with your eyes, in addition, that's a beat pattern. That's what you see on that graph there.
That waveform, that's the heartbeat that you're picking up?
That's the heartbeat I'm picking up out of my bed.
Oh,
that's
good God.
I'm nowhere in the room. And any physician or nurse who take your pulse or blood pressure or whatever can tell you, they can look at that, because by experience alone, that's not a human heartbeat.
Well,
And they go by the peaks and valleys.
Yeah, I'm looking at the patterns, and they don't look right. I'm no doctor, Keith, but I'm an audio person. I look at waveforms all the time, and this doesn't look. It just doesn't look right. I mean, I would if I were examining a patient, I'd ask the patient. Are you sure you're human? Because this doesn't look.
That's what my medical friend. She's an EMT for Seattle. She is the EMT, helicopter EMT. And when I sent her the file, and she looked at that, and her first reaction, she texted me like, "That's not a human." And she's like, "Where did you get this?" Everybody who I send it to the medical field always asks me, "Where did you get that heartbeat from?" Because they're thinking I'm sending them a human, and most of them, bless their heart, think it's mine. They're thinking I'm asking for a third opinion, and I have to calm them down. No, that's not my heartbeat. That's not my heartbeat. But they look at that, and then they hear it, and they're like, and I don't know the medical term they give for it, but they're like, if that was a human heartbeat, that person would be in the ER, and we'd be telling his family that.
Yeah.
He's about to go, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, you'd be on your way. And I'm just looking at the waveform of it. I'm dying to hear this. I've got to hear this, Keith. So at 42 seconds, that's where I should play?
Yeah, it's going to be a series of those. So yeah, I'll be quiet and I'll let you go.
Well, and pardon me and Keith if we have some reactions while we're listening to this audio here. And to the audience, I have no idea really what is about to be heard. Keith, you can back me up on this. This is not planned. This is just sort of coming up. This wasn't on my notes or anything. But here we go. All right. Let's see what we got here. Is this thing going to play? I'm on the right channel. Why am I not getting audio out here? This thing is turned up. Oh. Okay. Now it's moving and the counter is going. Why am I not getting any audio? This is really weird. The channel's on. It's on. It's up all the way. Now that doesn't happen. What in the world? Keith?
Can you hear anything?
Nothing. That's...
I can hear because I got you and other noise and whatnot, and I don't have headset. It does require headsets because it's. I mean,
well, I'm running things through mixing board here, and just to make sure that my channel is working, and we're on live here. This is the only way I can do it. I'm just gonna grab some other video. And just see, am I getting sound at all? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a different video. That's music. So why are we not getting sound over here?
Yeah, I'm on 41 seconds, but I'm not playing it. I'm playing it, but I don't have my headsets on.
There's no reason why this wouldn't give me audio of some kind. If one video will play, Keith, then the other video has to be able to play too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
Coming off the same computer, same audio. I want to hear this so bad. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I have lots of computers. We're just going to try another computer over here. How frustrating is that? That is weird. There's no reason that I shouldn't hear that. So I'm going to go to a different computer on a different channel here. We'll use this channel and let's see your channel. Sorry, listeners here. This is not good to do on the air. Let's see. I got to search it up. Demons in Seattle. Yeah. Gosh, this is weird. Okay. All right. Come on. Okay, here we go. Here's your channel. And I do remember I didn't have to scroll down very far to get to the heartbeats. So I went to videos and then I scrolled down just a little bit here and there is Poltergeist heartbeats. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to go to, this is kind of why I like clips, before air. But we'll go here. Yeah. And I mean, look, if this doesn't work, I have ways, Keith. We're going to get this on the air tonight. Okay.
Well, I'm on 37 seconds and
Okay, let's see if we get any audio from here. Why?
There you go. I hear it.
You hear it?
Yeah, I hear it. Start again.
Okay. Unexplained phenomena. The video's on. The counter is going. The channel is turned all the way up.
That's it. That tap, tap, tap.
That? Oh, that is hard to hear. That weird little...
Yeah.
Like that sound?
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I really wish. You know what I'm going to try to do here, which I've never done sort of on the air before, but we have got to amplify that, and I have ways of doing that, Keith, so that we can pull this out to hear it live on the air. But okay, that is really weird, but I want to make it louder so everybody can hear it. It's kind of very difficult to hear. So you are hearing this when you're lying in your bed.
Yeah, this is just one out of, it's like 5 different, for lack of a better word, patterns, but mainly the pillow, and by pillow I mean near your ear, under the pillow, occasionally on the mattress. I mean, if you put your ear to mattress, some nights out of frustration, because it just nerve wracking, I toss my pillows off the bed and just say, screw it. But then my ears hear through the mattress. And keep in mind, when you put your hand over what you hear, you feel it. You feel the pulsation coming through, very rapid, like, I had pets growing up, so I had a cat I loved, and, you can feel a cat's heartbeat when you put your hand over their torso area or rib cage, and you feel the heartbeat while they're sleeping, purring. And that's what you feel, in the bed. Now, what's interesting, or I guess what's good, is, the U.S. team, Nikki Novell and Carissa, when they lived in the home 3.5 weeks, were witness to the heartbeat. They felt it with their hands.
They did.
Yeah, I was taking a nap while they were downstairs, and this is normally when they bother me the most, is when I'm napping. And I had almost forgotten that I had a house full of investigators, so I called them upstairs immediately and had them put their hand where my ankle was, and it just blew their mind. It just blew. I mean, Steve Barra was able to vouch when Nick Kyle, and Don Phillips bought in motion sensors and detectors and just laced the mattress out the yin yang and then taped off the room. And then the alarms went off soon after. And Steve documents as well in his book, Fires and Whispers, of this phenomena of when they came back to the room responding to their alarms going off. All the alarms that were underneath the mattress were on the side of the bed now. No explanation as to how they move. And keep in mind, we all know a mattress can hold anything down, especially a small electronic device. And the room was cordoned off, sealed off. And when Steve went to remove the motion detectors off the floor, not the bed where he left them, they picked up a 9 milligauss reading on the floor where the device was laying that maintained a 9 milligauss reading for 3 hours.
Yeah, my God. Well, look,
3 hours, nothing there. 3 hours of 9 milligauss reading. And like I said, blew their minds.
Well, look, while we've been on here, I was able to do a little bit of audio processing on that clip. I just pulled it. I have ways, Keith. There's no need to really. Pardon? What's that? I'm sorry?
I was going to say what you were able to accomplish with my EVPs the last time we talked when you played them on the Yeah, remember the EVPs you magnified and spliced up in?
Right. Yeah. Well, I've gotten a little good at that, and I just did a little quick and dirty here on these heartbeats because I got that we need the audience to hear this. So I'm going to play this now, and I'm looking at a waveform in my audio processing software, so I know there's audio, and all I did to this, Keith, is amplify it. That's all I did. Added volume to it is all I did. And so now let's hear what this sounds like. It's not a very, it is a long clip, but I'm pretty sure we'll get an idea here. There we go. Let's see. It's playing. It's going a little slow there. Let me see. There's some kind of noise. Okay, I know people can hear that.
You did that.
Yeah.
You did that. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how to do that.
Oh, I got...
That's what I hear.
Yes, I've got skills, Keith. I got skills.
And you can hear it, because I didn't know, because I'm not a doctor, but the doctors, they hear the valves. If you're in this profession...
Yes, you can. Here it comes again.
You hear the chamber.
God, listen to that. That's creepy. Oh, my God. Oh, it's slowing down. Oh, yeah. Good Lord, Keith, this is, oh, God, here, let me get to the next one. There's another little wave there. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
There's nothing natural about that, Keith. That sounds alien to me. I'm not saying that's what it is. It sounds so,
yeah.
And then there's another pattern over here in the waveform. What is this?
Oh,
yeah. God.
Yeah.
Oh, Keith.
Yeah.
No, you cannot
4, 5,
be
6 hours a night. That's all you hear.
Of this sound.
Of that sound.
There's more.
Yeah, see that?
Oh, my
These are
God.
These are sounds.
Oh,
these are...
no. There's no way you could make that, Keith. There's no way you could make that kind of sound. I am telling you, as an audio person, I'm looking at this waveform here, and there is nothing natural about what I'm looking at.
That's a very distinct waveform. That's how doctors and physicians are able to discern and tell what condition, and they diagnose you based on your waveform. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not, I show this to them, and I let them tell me what it is or isn't. And the answer is always the same. We don't know what that is. That's not human. That's not a human heartbeat.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. And when I first loaded up the waveform into my software here, it was just teeny tiny. I mean, I had to amplify that by about 35 times to bring that audio out. In fact, that's as much as the software will allow me to amplify it. Now I can go in and I can override and go past that, but then we'll get audio clipping. This is Keith, I don't even know what to say. This is what you're living with all the time. Here's another part of it. I mean, I just want everybody to hear this real good. Now, listen, guys, listen. You hear that? All I did was amplify that. How does this not drive you completely out of your mind, sleeping with that in a room by yourself?
Like I said, it does, but the alternative scares me because it does drive me out of my mind, but the alternative for me is just to go crazy for Cocoa Puffs, and I'm just hanging by a thread of trying not to, but make no mistake about it. It drives me out of my mind. I mean, I've worked and talked to people on trying to eliminate, move. Keep in mind, I've switched, bought 5 beds since I've lived in the Bothell house. 5 beds and mattress, and it doesn't change, or stayed in a hotel, or I travel on business. Usually by day 2 or day 3, in whatever hotel I'm in, that heartbeat comes there. And 3 other people have felt the pulsation in the heartbeats by putting their hand on the mattress. 9 milligauss on the floor after a device was under the mattress.
On the EMF reader, right?
On the EMF reader. And there are other poltergeist cases, far few in between, the Ezra Cox Poltergeist story, she, in their notes, spoke of a pulsation in the mattress. Other poltergeist cases have the haunted house in Connecticut, or the Connecticut poltergeist that Ed and Lorraine investigated. The house occupants spoke of pulsation, heartbeats, like a small rodent or animal, mattress indentation on the mattress. I'm pretty sure some of your listeners might have a similar story. It's not out of the norm of paranormal lore, because I'm able to find previous cases. If you dig deep enough and you find, you got to talk to the occupants. Most researchers will scratch it off or write it off as over exaggeration. But if you talk to the house occupants, they will say, yeah, it feels like a cat jumped in my bed, but I don't have a cat. Or it feels like a dog, or something's making, like paw prints are heading towards me while I'm sleeping. And that's what this is. That I took the beats per minute and was able to pull up a beats per minute chart or graph, and there's multiple of them up online, and they would tell you based on the beats per minute, if science was to just make a wild guess, it's of a small animal. Small animals have a rapid heartbeat. The larger the animal, the slower the heartbeats. Humans, we like to hover around the 60, 70, 80, 90 range. And, the high 90s, you're running or you're doing activity. But typically, and in my book, like I said, I go into my doctor, put my medical file in the book. Keith learned to put his medical history in his second book, showing for maybe, I think, 4 or 5 months or to a year, my heartbeat when I went in for a physical, what my heartbeat was in comparison to the heartbeats you just hear. And
this is not human. And as an audio person looking at this waveform, I can tell you there is no way you'd be able to invent this. If there's an equivalent to Photoshop for audio, you would not be able to do this, because first of all, the waveform is too uniform. Number one. Right. Number two, there's 3 distinct different patterns. And number 3, you just listen to you get any regular person to listen to that. That is not human, Keith. This is not human. No. I mean, I gotta go to another break, and when we come back, maybe we can hear that just one more time. You are full of surprises. You certainly are that, Keith. This is gonna be one of those nights, I'm pretty sure by the time we're done here, I'm gonna need a drink. And I'm not the drinking type, Keith. Wow. I've felt the depression in the bed before. I've had some odd activity. I'm fascinated with communicating with the dead. What Keith Linder here is going through is something otherworldly. There's no other word you could use to describe that. Now, if you didn't catch it, I'll play it again when we come back from the break. I'll figure out over the break how to amplify that even more. But I'm pretty sure you heard that all I can tell you is that is not human. If there is a medical professional out in the audience, I would sure love your opinion as to what we just heard. We'll be right back with Keith Linder. And if you think this is it, no. Oh, no, there's so much more that we have to talk about that Keith Linder has to report to us tonight. Shadow beings, not seen out of the corner of the eye, but dead on. We'll be right back.
I don't care what you say. don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
Please listen. Now is not the time to fear. When your immune system is strong, shields up. You have very little worries. If your immune system is compromised, you're susceptible to all viruses. I say shields up and no fear. Try Heart Love from GetTheTea.com. Heart Love has a special ingredient called allicin. It comes from the healing part of the garlic plant. No garlic breath, no garlic leaking out your pores, just pure immune-building ingredients that gets your shields up. Heart Love is a unique blend of herbs that loves to build you up. Google garlic and know the benefits. One Heart Love pill is equal to 20 cloves of garlic. 20 cloves! Shields up. You've heard of our Life Change Cleansing Tea at GetTheTea.com. Now try Heart Love. And by the way, take your blood pressure and watch weekly what happens. So here's how to purchase. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com and build your shields. That's GetTheTea.com. Mention Ray in the coupon code and hit apply and receive free shipping.
Okay.
Cuthbert Tweezle works hard and long at his job.
Okay.
As a duck call tester.
Okay.
Yes, for hours on end. Duck call after duck call undergoes Cuthbert's careful scrutiny.
Okay.
Being a duck call tester is occasionally interesting.
Ooh, defective.
But most of the time it's as pathetically dull as it sounds.
Okay.
So one day this week, in a rare display of spontaneity, Cuthbert Tweezle escaped. To Las Vegas! Las Vegas! You could be there tomorrow. There are flights every nanosecond practically. Las Vegas! It's amazing, it's exciting, it's glamorous as heck, and way more fun than working. Hey, why not? Call your travel agent and get your to Las Vegas.
Okay.
A mental health tip from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority.
Welcome back to Creative Thinkers. Today we're speaking with Dr. Albert Einstein.
Hello there.
Hey, Doc, how are you?
Oh, fine. At least relatively.
You're a genius.
Danke.
Hair's kind of wild, though.
Yeah, I've been pulling it.
Pulling it?
See, I've developed a brand new theory.
Really?
And I'm putting together a big marketing push for it. Mm-hmm. But I can't find one place to handle all my creative materials.
Have you considered Creative Works?
Creative Works?
Creative Works is the one-stop expert at creating complete marketing and advertising solutions.
Even for a genius?
Especially for a genius.
I'm there.
Good. By the way, Doc, what is your brand new theory?
Well, get this. As it turns out, E only equals MC squared some of the time.
Uh-oh.
Crazy, huh?
That'll have an impact.
No kidding.
Creative Works. Bright ideas. One stop.
Hi, I'm Heather Wade, host of the Kingdom of Nye. Did you know this space is for sale? You can get your product or service in front of an engaged audience for a lot less than you think. And if you can't record your own radio spot, let me create one just for your business needs. Get started now. Contact us at advertising@thekingdomofnye.com or click advertising@thekingdomofnye.com for more details. It's a known fact that radio gets results. Improve your bottom line when you run your ad on the Kingdom of Nye.
clock strikes 12 and the Kingdom of Nye is pounding packets your way. To call the show, please dial 1-775-298-5600. That's 1-775-298-5600. First time callers? Of course, at 1-775-293-4500. That's 1-775-293-4500.
Well, Keith Linder is with us tonight. If you're tuning in a little bit late, we're talking about the Bothell Hell House. More like the aftermath of the Bothell Hell House, and it is just as disturbing as you may expect from Keith Linder. And maybe now, those who tuned in on time may understand why I said we might want to put the kids to bed for this tonight early. Welcome back, Keith. I tell you what I'm gonna do here. I was trying to do this as fast as I could over the break. I amplified it up just even more. And then what I'm gonna do is I've got this little file of yours on a thumb drive, and I'm going to email this to you after I get off of the air here, because I want to focus on our conversation. I don't want to be doing, manning all the computer stuff. But when we get off the air, I have your email address, and I'm going to send you this via WeTransfer, so you can download this amplified version of it and just tuck that away into all of your evidence, and maybe that will be helpful to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, because I get asked that a lot, and like I said, others will listen to that and be very impressed and be able to understand, because I want people to comprehend the whole... because you can only tell so much, but once you hear, then that's another dimension, another facet to what it is I'm experiencing and what it is other people have reported when they say the term phantom heartbeats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I amplified it even more over the break. And I just want to run this one more time with even more amplification on it. And honest to goodness, that's all I did. I had no idea you were going to bring this up. But here we just whipped it out, quick and dirty, I suppose. That doesn't really sound right. This is, supposed to be a family program. Here we go. Let's listen to this one more time. Oh yeah, you can hear that.
Yeah.
It slows down. God, that slowing down isn't natural. Okay. One more time. This is the next one. It does it again. It's like it's starting up very, very quickly and then slows down. And then there's this pattern here that is just... Is that you sleeping, Keith? The breathing?
No, I'm not in the room. This right here, I'm not even in the room.
You're not in... There's nobody in this room?
No.
When you amplified it now, I can hear breathing. Do you hear that breathing? Listen. Well, it's not in that one. Let me go back. Okay, listen very closely here. You hear breathing. I hear it. Under that, I can hear breathing. Maybe it's because I have my headset on and my headset is just as loud as could possibly be. I can hear it sounds like this. It sounds like...
Yeah, the echo works with me. I have to be in the other room because I'm on the cloud and I'm viewing this bar graph.
Mm-hmm.
Viewing it either through my smartphone app or my laptop. The software comes with a Android or iPhone app, and I'm launching this in another room using my living room or office, and the stethoscope is underneath my pillow. What conjures me to even do this is just a night of constant heartbeats. That's what make me bring out the equipment, because I never try to plan or orchestrate, because I've learned that impacts them. They don't really want to be givey. But if you just go about your normal sleep habits, and I can turn on this device relatively quickly in 4 minutes, and I probably got a window of 20 minutes or less before all this dissipates. So I'm able to capture what's the benefit of this, what you see on the YouTube video, and I've always envisioned with the Echo device and the other one is I could live stream this if I had an organization.
Yes, you could.
Or a paranormal team who just wanted to, kid, I don't take your word for it, you're tripping or whatever. I could live stream and keep the Echo underneath my pillow while I'm sleeping then, and individuals from all over the world, because the software creates a link and everybody's sort of like a Zoom link, everybody logs in link, and listens to the heartbeat in real time. That's one of the benefits of this technology. That's why that's why it's so crazy expensive.
Well, you would have to have something that sensitive just to pick it up at all. Like I say, I have amplified this by crazy amounts just to get it this clear so we can hear it this clear. And I can see on the waveform that there is an underlying sound there. Now, this is the third pattern on the waveform here, and it's just, again, this heartbeat. I just can't get over it, Keith. That is okay. And now I want to share something with you because I asked if there were any medical professionals in the audience that could help analyze this or listen to it for us. And thank goodness I was able to amplify that. Where did this go? Okay, so Priscilla sent this to me in the Looking Glass. Heather, as a licensed veterinary technician, I listen to many heartbeats of dogs and cats every day. That is beyond creepy. The fast one reminds me almost of a cat's heartbeat minus the ticking, because I was listening to that too, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's a heartbeat, but there's also something that's missing. There's something not quite there. So Priscilla says a cat's heartbeat minus the ticking, but the super slow one, which is like what we were just listening to, the super slow one is the most eerie because heartbeats are only that slow when the animal is dying. Now, few more comments here from the audience. I mean, we just have to jump on this. Royal in Connecticut, he says, I absolutely heard those heartbeats crystal clear. Keith is absolutely right. You can hear the valves. There is no way that is a human heartbeat. Definitely not. Great job amplifying them. Lord, please don't let me start hearing heartbeats now in bed. Vaughn here, and I know Vaughn is a little bit skeptical guy. He says, finally, audio evidence of the monster under the bed. Well, monster in the bed. All those kids have been right. Now all we need is a video of the monster in the closet. Well, that's just what Vaughn says. I mean, I'm having a hard time myself dealing with this right now, what you brought to us tonight, Keith. Bruce in the Looking Glass says it sounds mechanical or someone else is sleeping in his bed, but they are not fully in this dimension. Creepy. Smog says here, I would always feel my late cat Clyde jump into bed with me when I was little was always a comfort. With your hauntings and Keith's hauntings, he would be a great house guest for you. No, Keith, no, I'm sorry. You can't come over. You know what's really weird too is before, 7:30, 8, something like that, when I'm getting ready to come on, I always get ready sort of early in the evening. And, I'm going around taking care of the house and doing things. And there was this foul odor. And I thought it was really weird. Usually if activity happens when we're doing a show, it happens in here in the studio. But this is before we get on the air. And Keith, I am OCD with my house. I clean my house. I took all the trash out today, and it smelled like something had gone bad. Like some sort of food or something had gone bad. And I wondered, dealing with all of this, do you have any foul odors in your place, or have you even in the Bothell house?
At the Bothell house, there were 3 episodes of foul odor right outside our master bedroom where the first Bible caught fire on the floor. Very localized, very stench, very putrid smell.
Yeah.
Comes and goes. I mean, it's almost in an instant. I documented or talk about it in the first book of how if you just turn a smidget of a degree, you don't smell it. It catches you. It reeks. It almost floors you by the stench, but it comes and goes and it's gone. And then the episode of the flies. Not too many people know about the fly episode, where me and Tina had inexplicable appearance of just one fly, giant nickel size, almost quarter fly in the dead of winter. I think it was December, of this fly that would just appear on a wall or on a desk. And I'm from Texas. I've seen thousands, millions of flies all my life, and you wave your hand over them, or you're about to get the fly swatted, they fly away. These flies, or this particular fly, they don't move when you wave at them. They don't shoo, you can leave and go to the store, go to Home Depot and buy a fly swatter and come back. This fly will still be there, and you kill it, and I did, and flush it down the toilet because it's huge, a big fly, and I thought nothing of it until I started seeing the second one. And I noticed the same pattern of different location, but they don't fly or shoo away. And then the third one I saw was the one, it was in the same spot as the DiKL oil, the black mysterious oil that appeared in the hallway on a Christmas card that the Portuguese hung on the wall. It was in the same exact spot. And we at that time we had no plants. People were like, well, flies hatch eggs in your pottery and your foliage and stuff like that. No, we had none of that. And there was 2 inches of snow on the ground that day or that week because we had unusual snow in Seattle. And it was just 3 flies. 3 for a campaign of 3 days. Kill one, another one comes the next day. Kill it, another one comes the next day, and poof, no more flies. But I know all too well about the foul smell.
Yeah, it was very strange, Keith, because I couldn't find a source for it. It was like there and then not there, and I'm walking all around the place going, where is this? I double checked. I did take the trash out, right? Because it smelled like something had gone bad in the trash. And I thought, I wonder if this has something to do with Keith. Not in a bad way, but just because when we talk about these things, we're stirring it up a little bit. And what you are dealing with is on another level. And I would not be surprised if it, I'm not saying that it's now going to move to my house. I'm just saying maybe a little leak over, and I'm just hoping that when we're done talking that it may go away. But I had to ask you, because that is unusual. My house, Keith, smells like Lysol all the time. So it's very unusual, and so you have gone through that. My God. Well, what, oh God, I'm scared to ask you any questions now. Now you got my heart beating. Okay, so shadow beings. You are dealing with shadow beings. How did this begin? Was this after you moved? Is this now in your other place of residence?
Well, the shadow beings did start in the Bothell home. I talk about them a lot in both books. And how that came to be is, the first time I saw the shadow figures, I wasn't really, knew what I was seeing. I was still playing catch up with the paranormal. And they did appear out the corner of at first. You look over there in the corner of your doorway and something's looking at you, then you do a blink, it's gone. And you're like, okay, whatever. And then another day you see something and it's going from left to right across your doorway. It's like moving, and then you do 3 blinks and you're like, am I seeing things? Is a shadow? Am I tired? And then it's gone. As the activity started start to increase, I start seeing the shadow figures a lot more, always in the hallway, always outside my office. And I talk about how they walk. They walk, and just so your listeners know how big they are, they're about 10 inches to 12 inches tall. And they walk on 2 legs, hind legs. They walk very stilt-like. I don't know if too many people are familiar with those old, because I grew up and watched them, those old Sinbad movies where the clay animation, the stop clay animation of the dinosaur or the saber-toothed tiger, of how it walks across the, Sinbad or whatever. But stop motion animation is how they move, or what it reminds me of is, and they never walk towards you directly. They walk in and out of frame, if that makes sense. It's like they walk towards you, disappear, reappear, they're closer towards you. Walk towards you, disappear, reappear closer towards you. Very small, blacker than a trillion midnights. Between hairy and scaly, kind of. The closest thing I could say they look like or resemble is, remember that 80s movie Critters or the 80s movie Gremlins? Talking about the bad ones.
Yeah.
They look like that. They're very sneaky. They're very coy. I know Microsoft, when I was a beta tester for the prototype Xbox 360, caught wind of them on their 360 system when they picked up weird images, black shadows, and images on their Kinect while they were monitoring my gaming or playing habits, and it just blew their mind away as to what this anomaly, they call it anomaly, that they had no reason for as to what was causing it. And these shadows were dangling from the ceiling in the kitchen and the living room, and it paused the experiment or the project that they were doing. But other people I'm talking about now, I'm not living in the home. I'm now in my second place of residence after the Bothell home. Women I've dated have seen them with their naked eye, and they don't date me anymore. They know of my story. They sort of get it, but seeing is believing. They've seen the shadow figure dart across the room in the middle of TV watching or movie watching, and things like that. I talk a lot about them in book 2. I think I dedicate 3 or 4 chapters to the shadow figures. Rhonda, may she rest in peace, the previous tenant who lived in the Bothell house, who had activity 5 years before me and Tina moved in. Her son saw them all the time. He was I think 5 or 6 years old at the time, and he would tell her of seeing shadowy figures. This is in the midst of all the other activity that they were having. And she volunteered that information to me. I didn't ask her, hey, did your son see shadowy figures? No, she volunteered that information. And that's when I knew what I was seeing was true, when she told me her son was seeing, because I drew pictures of him. I put the pictures of him that I drew from scratch into both books, and how he described them and how I drew them almost right and exact. So yeah, the shadow being or figures or whatever, I believe in this one to connect the dots, if you will, going back to your heartbeats of the cat, the pitter patter, the bed indentations. I believe they're all connected. I believe the heartbeat I'm hearing or capturing is coming from them. I believe they are the ones that are doing the mattress indentations. I believe they're the ones poking and prodding and yanking the sheets off me while sleeping. I say in my second book, I attribute 85% of the activity me and Tina had in the Bothell house to them, because there's a lot of them. When Carissa Fleck conducted the EVP, and you played this on your show last time, where she was on the patio and she asked how many shadow people are out here. She asked that question.
Yeah.
And a voice came back. It was a kid voice that said 3. She said, how many? And the kid like, 3?
Yes.
And oh my God, it was just very real to me that you would get an answer like that, because she was just like, number one, are there any out here? Dead silent. How many are out here? 3. So, and she specifically asked how many shadow people are out here, and it was a kid voice.
Yeah,
and
God, I wonder if I have that. I bet you I do, because I don't get rid of those. I think I have it, Keith. I think I have it right here.
It's called 3. If it's titled or file name 3, then
yeah, here it is. Maybe we ought to hear that. God, it's been so long. It's a good thing we save our work, right? Let me cue this up and see if we can't hear this. Now, I think this is the one where I took the clip and I just had it play twice. Now, it's only a 15-second clip, but I think that's probably why I played it twice. Yeah, let's give this here a listen.
Are there shadow people out here? How many?
Yeah, I did it GIS style. I learned how to deal with EVPs from the Ghost Investigator Society, and of which I think I'm an honorary member. And what they do is they take the original clip. You just have the original raw audio as you heard it when it played back the first time. And then you take the ghost voice or the anomalous voice and you amplify that and then play it twice so that you, especially something like that, you want to make sure what you're hearing is what you're hearing. And so that's all that I did there. I'm not trying to interfere with the audio, and you can back me up. There's nothing in that audio that wasn't there when you gave me the clip.
Nope. No, it's outside on the patio, and Carissa done the dead of night. We weren't even there. I was not asleep. But just to hear that, when they played it to me, and, you know, like I said, I'm always blown away because I live it, but I'm always blown away by the evidence. And when you ask a distinct question of how many shadow people, and they're honest, 3.
And you get an answer. Yeah, and let me tell you, I've been trying to collect EVPs myself in my own house lately, and I have gotten exactly 0. It is not easy to get EVPs, and anybody can try it with a recorder and try to do it. And if they're there, you'll get them. But it's not, even in a house like mine that I'm pretty sure there's activity here, I'm not picking up anything at all, which is strange. So that you can get these at all is really something, because it's not just automatic to get actual EVPs of voices like that. And we gotta take us a break here, Keith. But the way this is going tonight, I'm just gonna let you tell us what you think we ought to know when we come back from this break. Because honest to goodness, I don't even know where to go next. And I bet you do know where to go next with all of this. I just don't know how one person can deal with this and stay sane. It's got to take its mental toll on a person, wouldn't you think? And, it's all fun and well and good to try to communicate with the other side. Ghost stories are fun, and then there is a point when it's not fun anymore. And that is exactly where our guest tonight, Keith Linder, is. We'll be right back, everybody. I'm Heather Wade.
Hi, I have the window seat there.
Oh, well, I can't move. Just crawl over me.
Okay, I'll do it.
That's a handsome carry-on bag you have.
Thanks, I got it at the luggage center.
Yeah. If I bothered with luggage, I'd probably pick one up myself.
Well, but you have a suitcase, though.
Oh, no. Everything I'd put into a suitcase, I'm wearing.
What?
I have on socks and underwear for a week, 7 shirts, 3 slacks, PJs, a blazer, a robe, this pair of shoes tied around my neck, and the pair of shoes I'm wearing.
Well, aren't you uncomfortable?
Excruciatingly. But I never have to worry about packing a suitcase again.
Well, see, the luggage center has free how-to-pack seminars. Everything you're wearing is packed nice and neat in this carry-on bag.
Wow. Say, could you hold my coffee up to my lips? I can't bend my arm.
Oh, sure. And the Luggage Center has a huge selection of brand names at the lowest guaranteed prices, and you are really, really sweating.
Yeah, I lose about 7 pounds a trip.
You know, you should try the Luggage Center. They promise to make your next trip better.
I'll do that. Oh, listen, in an emergency, I can be used as a flotation device.
Oh.
So cling all you want.
I'll cling.
The Luggage Center will make your next trip better.
Want to see how long I can hold my breath? That's it.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
This Memorial Day, we salute you, Mr. Gasoline Barbecue Starter.
Mr. Gasoline Barbecue Starter.
Never mind charcoal chimneys and easy lighting briquettes. The only way to start a real barbecue is with a gallon of 93 octane and a big book of matches.
Light up the sky.
Who needs eyebrows? You're hungry, and you've got 7 pounds of lamb shanks ready to go.
That's a lot of kebabs.
You don't just defy convention. You defy warning labels and common sense.
Very low IQ.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, oh Prince of the Pyrotechnics, because no one makes a backyard mushroom cloud like you.
Mr. Gasoline Barbecue Starter.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, Cartersville, Georgia.
AncientLifeOil.com. For your CBD needs, just remember, AncientLifeOil.com. What does it do for the body, you ask? I can't say to the people in the suits that run the industry. Big Pharma is all over CBD because of its well, you know what I mean. Research the benefits of CBD on Google and come back to AncientLifeOil.com and purchase your CBD today. Non-GMO and all organic. You don't want to be using a petroleum product. You want to be using the cleanest CBD product on the market. AncientLifeOil.com. We even have CBD for your pet. Help your pet's discomfort. Help your discomfort. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Newly reduced prices to pass off the savings to the most important person. You. AncientLifeOil.com. And one more thing. We have topicals too. So if you have joint pain and some different issues that are going on in your body, you might want to use a topical. Think about it. AncientLifeOil.com.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hello, Cedric.
I once handed back an unopened jar of mayonnaise.
You're still a man, Cedric.
I YouTubed how to change a light bulb.
You're a man.
I took a microwave on a camping trip.
You're still a man.
Watching synchronized swimming really calms me.
Man.
I like my eyebrows tidy.
Yes, you do. And you're still a man.
I work out in the colored weights section.
Well, men can do that.
Sports is gross.
Still a man.
My nipples are sensitive.
Mine too, man.
I don't high-five. You know, germs.
I know. Still a man.
I walk.
Yeah?
Speed walk.
Speed walking.
Uh-huh.
With the hips thing.
Yep.
Ah, still a man. The fully loaded man meal from KFC for every kind of man.
I love you.
I love you too, man.
We have ignitions.
Watching me. I'm just an average man with an average life. I work from 9 to 5. Hey, hell, I pay the price. All I want is to be left alone in my average home. But why do I always feel like I'm in the twilight zone? And I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? When I come home at night, I break the door real tight. People call me on the phone, I'm trying to avoid. Well, can the people on TV see me, or am I just paranoid? When I'm in the shower, I'm afraid to wash my hair, 'cause I might open my eyes and find someone standing there. People say I'm crazy, just a little touched, but maybe showers
take a walk on the wild side of night from the Wild Wild West. This is the Kingdom of Nye with Heather Wade. Please call the show at 1-775-298-5600. That's 1-775-298-5600. First-time callers dial 1-775-293-4500. That's 1-775-293-4500.
Well, I think that song might have been written just for Keith Linder. I couldn't help but play it. Welcome back, Keith. You'll have to forgive me for that. I couldn't resist.
It's my national anthem.
It's you. I mean, that song is what you're going through. You know, it's kind of silly. We listen to songs like that and think, oh, what a fun little song. Until you're living something like this.
Yeah, till. And just to bring the point home of watching you means, true story like everything we talked about tonight. This is when I was still living in the Bothell home. I'm winding through the neighborhood of where we lived in the Bothell neighborhood. And I get to the stop sign and I turn right going up the street that we live on. And maybe 4 or 5 houses before I get to our house, the garage door opens on its own before I reach for the visor clip and hit the auto razor device on my car. It goes up, and this has happened several times, and when I park in the driveway or in the garage, it closes on its own before I get to my house door to walk into the house. That's happened numerous times while living at the Bothell house. So it was almost like they're like, Keith's home, or welcome Keith, or we missed you, buddy. And, come on in. Fun's about to begin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just like, what do they have in store for me, tonight? You know, most people, I would love to come home and be a dog and he's happy to see me. Here I am coming home and the garage door is opening up and closing by itself. And they're there. So
you just want to turn around and drive anywhere else, to Denny's or something and just get a milkshake.
Can I press on your couch, please?
Yeah. God. Yeah. Jeez. Okay. Let me, think for a second here. Okay. Before the break, we were sort of connecting the dots. And I know in your case, the word demon comes up quite a bit. All right. Mm-hmm. Do you seem to have a theory that the poltergeist activity, they are actually demons? Can you explain how you come to that conclusion to us?
Yeah, I in my second book, I wanted to just put it out there based on my experience and my observation, what I've read about poltergeist, and people always tell me, and they're right for telling me that, both demonic haunting and poltergeist haunting, choose your pick which one you ever want to experience. They're like tit for tat, right?
Yeah.
And looking at all the phenomena that we saw and witnessed, the putrid smell, the flies, the burning, the defying the laws of physics, the shadow figures and how they really look. And I was just like, poltergeist by its basic definition just means noisy ghost. It's a German word. It was originated with the word Polt and the word Geist have two independent meanings. There's noise and the word ghost, and they just combined them. The word or the definition doesn't really do the activity justice just to say, oh, they're just noisy. No, poltergeists are not just noisy. Okay? Yeah, they throw things and they make a lot of fuss and racket. But if you look at all the famous cases and the cases that are not so famous, the underlying thing is there's something in people's homes that are just malevolent beyond malevolent. I mean, you're talking about stuff that just you're talking about supernatural. You've left paranormal, you're now in the supernatural realm. So with me, when I was looking at the wall stuff, the bone black, the oil, the spontaneous fires, the the voices, the shadow figures, and all the evidence that the paranormal teams came up with and presented back to me, I'm like, what's wrong with the word demonic haunting? What's wrong with the word? These things are intelligent. I think we can all agree that there's a level of intelligence being displayed. There's a level of conniving, manipulation of people, meaning me, Tina, and some of the investigators. A perfect example, Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
The poltergeist purposely did not give them activity because they wanted me and Tina to catch the hell. And so all these things, you're looking at a sentient being. There's evidence of conscious there. There's evidence of deliberate. I fell down the stairs. Steve Maradon Phillips got an EVP where they admitted. They say, we pushed Keith down the stairs. They use the word we. They say, we pushed them down the stairs. So I'm like, well, if you just put Hollywood aside, put Sunday school aside, and just put your own definition of what a demon would do if it was in your home, and then what a poltergeist is currently doing, they're the same thing. You know, nobody would want a Tasmanian devil running loose in their home. You just wouldn't want that, right? So
No.
therefore, just call it a Tasmanian devil. Why give it another name other than the activity that it's displaying? And everything that we've seen in my house shows that these things are not nice. They're not friendly. I've never come home and my dishes were done. They've never taken the trash out for me. They never cooked my meal. They never laid a steak out and let it defrost because I wanted steak. They never paid my bills. You know, I've got missing bills. I got missing mail. I've got Keith, I hate you, or die KL. They never said, Keith, I love you, or Keith, have a nice day at work. So I just went on ahead and said, you know what? Yeah, it's just a demonic haunting. I mean, poltergeist is noisy ghosts, but that's just the high level view of it. Anybody who's lived with a poltergeist would tell you, and on 7 continents, these things are hellraisers, dude. They're I would hate to see what a demon is if it's not the poltergeist.
Oh, this is the darkest side of the paranormal that you can get, Keith. And again, I have to just reiterate that you are the most unlikely person to be going through this. I mean, you are as regular as it's gonna get. And you're analyzing it as best you can, and capturing it, documenting it as best you can. And what does a person do? What does a person do? I mean, this activity's still going on. I mean, as in this past week, is this going on to this day?
Well, the heartbeats to this day, the poking and the prodding to this day. The physical phenomena was November. By physical, I mean I was at a jazz concert with a date, and she saw it like I saw it. The glass of water sitting in the middle of this thick wood table just disappeared, and we heard a loud crash. It was like, you know, and true enough, there it was underneath the table, and she was blown away because whenever I see activity around me and I'm with a stranger or somebody, I try to play it off. I try not to give the spirit its due. I try to oh my God, I hope this person didn't see what I just saw, or they start tripping or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, she saw it, and her common sense kicked in immediately. She's like, wait a minute. That glass was in the middle of the table. Your arms are around me, and now that glass is underneath the table. There's no way. She said, I think this jazz concert or whatever we're at is haunted. And she said that. Now, I could pile on like, oh, no, I'm the Botha guy. But I let her have that, shrug it off because I didn't want it to ruin the evening.
Well, sure. Here you are finally out with a girl. We don't need the demons to ruin it.
I'll go Bothell Hell House on her, but I made a mental note like, okay, she's observant. She knows that, and I know it, so I don't have to prove it to her, But then she wanted to talk about it on the way home. She's like, "Whoa, that was weird, man. Wow, that's kind of weird."
Oh, the look on their faces is priceless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's priceless. And we're just talking. I was like, yeah. Wow, the world is weird, ain't it? I'm just trying to play it off, And he's like, "Oh, wow." Then 24 hours later, she Googles my name, like, "Hey,
oh no."
We Google your name and oh, you got, whoa, demons in Seattle. What's that? You know, then I got to come clean it. Oh, yeah, the minions. And that's what the minions are there for. They're like, yeah, you know. But, yeah, so that was November of last year. And then right now is just the, you know, the bed stuff, which, you know, everybody's got to go to bed. So that's every night. That's every morning. And some nights are worse than others. Just when I'm about to say they've stopped or moved on, they'll do something electronical in my car, or I'm about to leave, or something. TV changes by itself, or something. They'll do something like that, just to let me know that they're still. It's better than what it was in the Bothell House. Of course, yes, it's way better. I can't really say, you know, I wish, you know, I can't really compare the two. They're like night and day. Do I wish the bed stuff would end or quit? Yeah. And then I haven't done a heartbeat experiment in over, I think the video you showed was 2017. I haven't done one in over 2 or 3 years, but that does not mean that it's not happening. It's still happening. I still got the digital stethoscopes. The technology to live stream it is still there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, I hear it every night. So I got 4 or 5 videos on YouTube. That's enough. You know, if somebody else wants to come in from a, you know, parapsychology organization or group to say, hey, we want to hook you up and observe you while sleeping and get these heartbeats, then that's a different story. But for me, yeah, I'm just trying to get 4 hours of sleep out of the 8 hours we're required to have.
Well, sure. I mean, you've had a lot of investigators take a look at this. You ever had Dr. Barry Taff take a look at what your activity is?
I've reached out to, earlier we've exchanged emails, but he went off the grid before he did the Demon House with Zach. He went off the grid, but I know he's familiar with this case or this house or whatever, as well as and I can never pronounce his last name, Lloyd
Auerbach.
Yeah, he's reading the Bothell Hell House and Attachments, Poltergeist in Washington State right now. The Ryan Institute is very aware. Everybody's combing through the evidence. The Ryan Institute is, Lloyd's organization is, the SPR in the UK is, but everybody's dumbfounded. I mean, it changes the current belief of poltergeist and the paradigm, and a lot of people are not ready to give up their existing paradigm of what they believe poltergeist to be, because this evidence, not me, this evidence is running contradictory to what a lot of organizations believe poltergeist to be.
Well, whatever the organizations believe, that's got to go out the window. The evidence is the evidence, and we have to look at that.
Exactly. Yeah, it should not be it exists outside the norms of RSPK. This is not an RSPK case. Everything runs contradictory to RSPK. Even Steve Mera admitted that in his conclusion of, hey, there's something new here. We might be dealing with a new Poltergeist 2.0, or we might have to evaluate existing beliefs about Poltergeist activity, because, number one, we've established the activity was here before they got here. It was 5 years before they got here. And Keith has had activity elsewhere, as has Tina. They both had activity at the same time. The previous occupants have had activity elsewhere, or still having activity while Keith is still living in the house. And all these other things that are going on, the wall writings, the bone black, the analysis of that. I told you about the 9 milligauss reading. You heard the heartbeats and all that stuff. To my knowledge, and I would love to be proven wrong, I cannot find any audio of phantom heartbeats. None that exists out there. I can find literature where the people talk about it.
Yeah.
Fine, I believe them because I lived it. I know they're telling the truth. But I cannot find any audio data that's been captured.
Well, that's why as soon as you brought it up, I'm going, whoa, wait a minute. I have to hear that. We need to hear it on the show. We got to hear this right now. So I just did whatever I had to do to get that on the air, because
2-hour video. Oh, there's way more heartbeats. Yeah. Because I started this project right after I moved out of the Bothell House of the capturing the heartbeats. This was 2017, so I was at the Bothell House about a little over a year.
Uh-huh.
ones I started immediately after I moved are much stronger, much longer. There's a few voices and EVPs inserted with it. And yeah, they go on. It's about an hour, 2 hour video of those heartbeats on the other stethoscope, which amplifies the sound 10 times or 100 times more. And yeah, I cannot find any existing case or past case where that has been captured because, you want a baseline. You want to compare it to other phenomena. There's rapping recording. We know about the infield. We know about the rapping noises and what Dr. Colvin did, Barry Colvin did with that. And that's fine. That there's audio of rappings on file, but heartbeats, and nobody, even your listeners who are in the medical field tonight, anybody can go on YouTube and look at that and know and say, no, dude, you can't. You can't Audio Galaxy or audio software create heartbeats.
You can't. No, I looked at the waveform. You would, no, I don't really want to get into the technicality of the whys and wherefores and everything, but just take my word for it as a amateur audio person here, you cannot create that with, like, say you had a keyboard or something and you were trying to make a sound like that, or a computer or something, try to make a sound like that. Keith, I'm here to tell you, I will bet you my bottom dollar, you did not make that. Nobody made that. That was recorded as it was heard, and there's no way to make a waveform that looks like that. I know the audience isn't looking at the waveform. I am, but they can hear it. And everybody, you have sufficiently creeped out. I mean, let me give you a message here in the looking glass. This was from Linda in Virginia, and she says here, you are more than welcome to stop intensifying how scared I am already. And then she said, this must have been at the 11:30 break, because she says, Lord, and we still have an hour and a half left. This is what happens when you get into the real thing. And this is what you're in the middle of, Keith, is the real thing. Now, has this ever occurred to you? This activity, as you know, because I've been, I looked at your YouTube channel there a little bit, and I know you've been looking back into history, the history of demonic activity and poltergeist activity. Okay, so this has been going on way back into antiquity up until now, but now we live in a different world. We've got all this wonderful technology at our fingertips. I wonder if this sort of thing has never been effectively captured before, and that's why it's never been fully understood.
Exactly. Now, the benefit, and I wish all researchers in paranormal out there need to understand, we are living in a pretty fundamental time right now because we have technology. I'm not talking about paranormal technology, go on eBay and buy a ghost hunting device. No, I'm just talking about there's a lot of digital equipment out there that's used for other means, like the digital stethoscopes. They're used for other means, but they do wonders if you use them in the paranormal. Number one, these equipments that I've used are certified out the yin yang. They're tested. They get through the vetting process because they deal with human beings and their hearts, and they got to diagnose correctly and all that stuff. So they're heavily regulated. It's not. It was very hard to get these devices. I had to pull a few strings because I'm not a physician. They don't just let anybody get them. But after you've crossed that threshold, you really have a jewel in your hand. And keep in mind, almost like an antibody, the poltergeists over time, they can pretty much duck and dodge our normal equipment because they've seen it already. They've seen everything the paranormal comes in the home with. They know it out the yin yang.
Cameras, recorders, that sort of thing.
Infrared, all that stuff. They see all that stuff, but they don't see a stethoscope. They're like, whoa, what is that? So they come in closer for a little look, see, and lo and behold, by the time they realize that, oh, this is for them, you might be lucky to catch some evidence as a result of that. And Steve and Dawn and Nikki, that's why they were somewhat successful, because they brought in devices that the poltergeists normally don't see. And therefore, they came in for a closer look. You stepped in the fly trap already, buddy. We got you. And that's what makes it interesting, what you hear and see. And I think in 2020, where we live in now, there's a lot of stuff that we, are not using in our paranormal investigations that I think we should be using to capture the sounds, to decipher the sounds. There's a theory that some of the activity that jumpstarts poltergeist activity exists in the infrasound or ultrasound spectrum. That's that sound that is invisible to the naked ear. The human being cannot hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, there's equipment out there that can hear it, and you probably would want that equipment at your side running, constantly running, while you conduct your normal investigation, because the poltergeists, in my opinion, know what spectrum we can see and hear in. Therefore, if you come in thinking outside the box, hey, I'm going to bring some equipment that detects invisible sound. And there are equipment that detects invisible sound. It's expensive, but it exists. And you can position that up, and you might get lucky. You might catch an anomaly or something, an arrhythmic, and it might be the precursor to an activity or an object levitating or moving and whatnot. So there's all kind of things, I think, now in the time we're living now versus, you see the same equipment on TV shows. You see it in investigations. Like, oh, okay, here we go. I mean, all right, got it. That's what the poltergeists, that's how they were picked up by the Microsoft team in my house. The Microsoft team wasn't coming there to investigate ghosts. They were beta testing their 360, and in addition, we're trying to introduce the new Kinect to the world in the summer of 2015. And they had all this equipment in my home watching me play a video game. Well, the poltergeists were there, but they weren't familiar with the technology. Therefore, when the lights went on and lo and behold, these images started appearing on the screen, it was not me that was dumbfounded. It was the technical team watching me play. This is their software. This is their code. This is what they designed. And when they're scratching their heads, like, whoa, what are these black floating things? This is not the game. This is not Keith. This is not Keith's couch. What is that? And then you extrapolate what they saw and go back and read poltergeist literature about what house occupants say they seen. Oh, I saw a floating black mass. I saw a floating black dot. It darted across the room. Or I saw a hovering black shadow. Well, that's what the Microsoft team caught on my Kinect. And you have to ask yourself, okay, is this the energy? Is this the poltergeist in its purest form? Is this what they look like? Because it's invisible to our naked eye. We couldn't see it in the living room that night with our naked eye, but the Kinect and the Microsoft system picked it up.
Oh, I've seen investigators use the Kinect, and what they get off of that is absolutely staggering. And ultraviolet cameras tend to pick it up. And what's really strange, Keith, I did some reading about this a while back, and it turns out animals, dogs and cats, well, cats I don't know so much about dogs, but I know cats can see in the ultraviolet spectrum. They can see that. And so it makes you really wonder why cats seem to be on a permanent trip. Well, maybe they can see things going on around a room that we can't see. Yeah, cats can see. Dogs can smell and hear, and they hear better than we do. And there are noises that they can pick up, and you notice better than me of there have been instances where people say, well, my cat acts strange. Mm-hmm. My cat sits in the shadow or sits in the corner. He's just looking at the wall. Mm-hmm. Or he's chasing something invisible around the house. Your cat's crazy. Your cat has better eyesight than you do. Okay? He's not crazy. He sees something. He's after something. Or my dog just ran out of my bed. He hasn't come out for hours. Your dog senses something. He smells something, senses something, or it is sound in your house. You can't hear it. You can't see it, but it's there. I mean, human beings, we only see in a very small spectrum of light, less than 1% of the whole entire electromagnetic spectrum. We only see less than 1% of what's out there
99.99% of that we can't even see. And I'm talking about the distance between you and your keyboard. Mm-hmm. There's a whole bunch of nothing there. And in my opinion, that's where they live. And we have equipment now that can capture some of that if we use it right.
Well, we should start really, just think outside the lines here, color outside the lines a little bit, and any equipment that we can use, repurpose it for these purposes to pick up anything we can possibly pick up, anything we can measure, the sounds, anything visual. I would have even taken samples of that water and had that water analyzed, the oil, have that analyzed, everything we can touch, any evidence that's tangible. We ought to use whatever we can to discern what in the world is exactly going on here, because with your case, Keith, it's pretty clear that this is not just in the realm of make-believe anymore. This is something strange going on. And in the paranormal world, people say that all the time, and I usually avoid saying those particular words. Something strange is going on. But in your case, it's true. It's so true. And we gotta take another break here, but the thing is most cases don't have something tangible, and yours does. And so that's why I wanted to start out with, look, you've gotten this treatment from the paranormal community. We don't know why. It's quite unfortunate. Most cases don't have something tangible to produce. They have stories, and those stories are all well and good and fine. But who can produce strange writings on the wall? Who can produce levitating objects? Who can produce these things that Keith Linder has brought forward? Samples of audio that we've heard tonight. It just goes on and on and on with him, and it is still going on. And I know I'm a little bit late here opening up the phone lines. That's because I really wanted to give Keith Linder the opportunity to tell his story in his own words. We'll open up the phone lines when we come back. And you're welcome to ask. Keith is one of the kindest people you'd ever want to talk to. And he'll answer all of your questions. If he doesn't know, he'll tell you he don't know. But you're welcome to start calling in. I know the calls were already starting to come in, but now is the time. I'll grab your call probably over the break, keep you on, and then put you on with Keith Linder. You can ask him whatever's on your mind yourself. I'm Heather Wade.
If you're not choosing a light beer with more taste, you need to man up, not man down. 'Cause up is way better than down. You don't tell someone sad to cheer down. What's down, dog? A steamy pile. And you just stepped in it. Giddy down, cowboy? You must be saddled on a blind three-legged jackass. Struggling to make down your mind? Let me help you. Yes, wear pants today. Looking for a down-and-coming neighborhood? Try Cell Block 4C. Great view with lots of bars nearby. Got a job at a start down company? Let me guess. You slap buckets on a street corner. Getting pumped down for your big party? It's in a chat room and the only guest is Bernie, the 67-year-old retired clown. Oh, and your girlfriend's not wearing a push-down bra. It's called gravity, Isaac Nitwit. Can I be down front with you? All this down talk is bringing me down. So don't man down, man up, and choose a light beer with more taste. Triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
What do you want to do with this?
On December 18th, 1975, George and Kathy Lutz and their 3 children moved into a house in Amityville, Long Island. 19 days later, they were running for their lives. What Happened to Them became one of the best-selling books in years and is now a fascinating motion picture, an experience in terror to make you believe in the unbelievable. The Amityville Horror from American International, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
Where are you? Are you in bed? Or are you leaving the first human footprint on Mars? Are you jogging? Or are you about to pull off the heist of the century? Are you in your car? Or are you praying those red eyes in the darkness can't see you? A voice in your ear can take you anywhere.
Audible. Get your first audiobook for free and feel every word. $7.99 a month after 30-day trial. Starts automatically. Terms apply.
Did you know you can't say f***ed on the radio? It's true. And you can get in some serious trouble with the FCC for saying shit too. That's a real shame, because those are exactly the words you'd use to describe the state of your credit. Meanwhile, you wonder what might have happened if you'd have went to Credit FX to have your credit repaired. The fact is, at Credit FX, we specialize in having credit bureaus legally erase f***ed up credit. With over 7 years of experience, knowledge, and the most advanced software in Jacksonville, our goal is to protect your financial reputation. Don't wake up in the morning feeling like shit and come home feeling totally f***ed over. Visit CreditFXOnline.com. If you've had credit problems in the past, and who hasn't, visit CreditFXOnline.com. It's the smart way to get the help you need so you can get the things you want. Visit CreditFXOnline.com. Believe me, you'll feel like a dumb shit someday if you don't.
When you're in the house for longer periods of time, you can see them flying or running across the floor. Ooh, yuck. They're unhealthy, gross, and disgusting. Bugs. I loathe bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. On contact, it kills hidden bugs, including ants, roaches, and fleas. Plus, Orange Guard is a residual repellent. All of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally recognized as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard. Available at orangeguard.com, Whole Foods, and Ace Hardware.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Kiss so distant, I've opened doors. Now when to listen, know what to listen for. Yeah. The shelf in the room has been the way of holding me and letting me stay. Kick me out, let me go. I don't belong here no more. A releasing sense of getting tired. Hold myself can't hold myself. The shelf in the room has been the way of holding me and letting me stay. The shelf in the room has been so true. I can hide in the shelf in the room.
The Kingdom of Nye doesn't screen your calls. We trust you, but remember the NSA? Well, you know. To call the show, dial 1-775-298-5600. That's 1-775-298-5600. First-time callers are welcome at 1-775-293-4500. That's 1-775-293-4500.
That's where you'll find me. Those phone lines are open. If you have questions, well, I'm here to take your call. I can put you on the air with Keith Linder. You can ask him your questions yourself, and you can judge for yourself. I mean, it's a pretty foregone conclusion that I believe him. I believe he is reporting what he knows is happening. And we have audio evidence. He's got photographic evidence. In fact, if you go to thekingdomofnye.com and you look at Keith Linder's photo that's on the website, it's no error that he's in front of this wall with a lot of patches on it, a lot of damage to that wall that's behind him. That's because of the activity that was going on in his house. It's not because he wanted that as a background in his photo. I know we've talked about this before on the air with Keith, but welcome back, Keith. Isn't that right? That photo of you on the website, that behind you on that wall, that's due to the activity you've had to deal with there, right?
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 paint overs, if you will, of the wall markings. You paint over it, they write again. You paint over it, they write again. Some of the wall markings start bleeding through the paint, through the primer. The poltergeist, not me, started including gloss inside their substance, which I learned because I made multiple trips to the paint store that gloss bleeds through paint. It's very difficult to paint over. It's very difficult to use primer over gloss. So yeah, that's what all that white patch stuff people are seeing in that photo. That's my office. That's where it happened.
Wow. God. Well, we've got us a call here on a first-time caller line, Keith. What do you say?
Oh, yes, go for it.
All right. On the first-time caller line, you're on the air with Keith Linder. Welcome to the show.
Hi, is that me?
It just might be. Let's find out.
Oh. Okay.
It's all right. Welcome to the show. I'm sorry. We do try to have a little fun around here, but I'm glad to take your call. You're definitely on the air.
Okay, well, it's wonderful to have you on the air, and you sound terrific, Heather.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right, now, I was listening to your guest. Hi, Keith.
Hello.
Okay, I was thinking when you were doing the heartbeats, they are really fast, and I thought maybe you want to run the tape past a veterinarian, because I know when I had a pet rabbit, that little sucker's heart beat like crazy, normally. And then if he was scared or excited in any way, it beat really fast. So a vet might be able to give you some insight in what the sounds are.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Keith.
Yeah, the speed of the heartbeats. I talked to veterinarians and I looked online. It is of a small animal. I mean, of course, they themselves and others they can't narrow it down. So, that's a rabbit. Only thing they can say is it fits within the heartbeat range of beats per minute of a small animal, which includes rabbit, cat, small dog. They all generally have the same beats per minute, give or take. But it fits within the description, and going back to the size. Remember, I gave a size of the shadow figures of whatnot of a being 1 foot tall on hind legs would fit within the range of a dog, cat, or rabbit. But it's just interesting. Like I said, these beats are coming from a bed or a mattress. And like I said, me and other investigators, when we put our hand over where I hear it with my ear, you can feel the pulsating within the mattress. Throw an EMF device over it or another device, and it spikes off the grid until it dissipates, till the heartbeats dissipate. But they seem to intensify the longer I sleep. Like I said, I usually feel them toward the end of my extremities, and by early morning when I'm just sort of groggy and about to get up or just had enough of it, they will have they've already migrated to my pillow. They've already made it north to where I'm sleeping, and I think that's reason for the nightmares and the night terrors, because I've woken up with headaches or head pounding. And these nightmares, I'm very descriptive of the nightmares and the night terrors in my second book.
Well, let's talk about that in a minute. Don't lose that thought. Put a pin in that. But I want to go back to our caller here. On the phone there, on the first-time caller line, did you hear the slower heartbeats also that we played?
Yes, I did. And those had me really puzzled because, like I said, even when the rabbit was calm and in my lap and being petted, you could still hear its little heart going, full bore. But there's even faster one. But what I wanted to say was that the slower, calmer heartbeat was not anything as slow as that one. The only thing I come up with, as he talks about it being from inside the bed, there's this really scary scene in one of the Freddy Krueger movies where he actually pulls somebody through the bed.
Oh,
he's in there.
I remember. Yes, I know. I remember what you're talking. God, you had to bring that up at midnight, didn't you? Oh, Lord. I remember what you're talking about. And that really scared me bad as a kid. But that slow heartbeat that Keith was kind enough to share with us there, a being would have to be dead, caller. To have a beat that slow, and there's just no way that's something that's alive. But we did have a veterinarian in the audience respond in my looking glass, and that veterinarian said, sure, it does sound like a cat's heartbeat, maybe a small cat or something, but the ticking is missing. And I'm not a doctor or medical professional by any means, but when I heard that heartbeat, you can tell that there's a layer to that that's missing. It's not a complete heartbeat. There's something there missing, and so it just brings so much into question. That's why I wanted to open up the phone lines to hear reactions from folks like you in the audience. So I do appreciate you calling. Any other questions or word you want to share with us?
With the slowness, the only thing I can think of is that, and I don't know if it goes that slow, but I've heard that yogis that have been meditating their life, or their entire lives, can have a heartbeat that's so slow that if you didn't know, you would think they were dead, because it beats so steadily but infrequently, with big gaps. So I don't know if that's a component of all of this.
Well, I do not know, unless Keith has got a yogi living in the mattress. I have heard of that. This is something unseen. If there was a being in the room, I'm sure, Keith, you'd tell us there's a being in the room or a person in the room or something like that. The other very unsettling element of that clip is the breathing. And I know I mentioned that before when we were listening to it, because I had it so incredibly amplified, and I was wondering if anybody else heard that breathing that's sort of under the heartbeat there. I can see it in the waveform on the screen. Producer Tony, he's also listening on his high-quality headphone set, and he sent me a text at that time. Look, I heard that breathing. So I wonder if anybody else in the audience heard that. It's quite difficult to pick up, even when it is as amplified as you can possibly possibly get it. Thank you very, very much for the call. She's, obviously listening, paying attention, and has questions. It's difficult to answer these kind of questions. Keith, if you could have all the answers, we'd have this thing figured out by now, wouldn't we?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Well, here's another response from a medical professional. This is from Turquoise Diva out there in our audience. And Turquoise Diva says that sound he recorded is not a heartbeat. And I would like to ask Turquoise Diva to call up right now. I know she is a medical professional. If Turquoise Diva could call up either on the North American Skype or on the telephone numbers, I'd certainly appreciate that, because if it's not a heartbeat, if what she's hearing to her is not a heartbeat, then I'd love to talk to her about what she thinks it might be. But she continues on. Keith, this is for you. Turquoise Diva says, this seems very personal and is attached to him. Did he have any relatives or enemies or scorned lovers that were into voodoo or any of the dark arts? Has he considered getting in touch with Amy Allen of the Dead Files? Turquoise Diva thinks maybe Amy Allen could help find the answers for you. I don't know about that, but what about the voodoo dark arts aspect? You have anybody mad at you that would want to do something like that to you?
Not to my knowledge. It's a fair question. I get it often in the sense of trying to, why me? And I ask that question every day. Why me? Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm left with is we just moved into a house, and this stuff was there when we got there, and it takes my whole entire book one to explain it. Me and sort of. When the activity started, I became rather fascinated and rather put on my troubleshooting, problem-solving hat and trying to discern, number one, what it is, why is it happening, can we get rid of it? And that old proverb is true of, when you look into the abyss looks back into you. Me having not knowing what the abyss I'm specifically looking at, doesn't stop them from looking back at me. Therefore, there are attachments as a result of that. Also, the question about Amy, what a lot of people don't know is, once you've been on paranormal television show of a network, mm-hmm. and that would be the Travel Channel, and I know Amy's show is on the Travel Channel, you can't be on the other. The investigators do not cross streams, if you will.
Really?
That's in the clause.
That is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why are they doing that? That's just getting in the way of getting to these answers that they allegedly want to get to.
Well, that's the whole deal. They're not necessarily trying to get to the answers.
They're trying to sell advertising. They're not trying to get to no answers.
Just think about it. If you can't have Amy's viewership solve my problem, or Amy's herself or others solve my problem, and Ghost Adventures just come on maybe an hour or two before her show did it, that would just, they don't, that would just like putting Pepsi and Coke in the same building. But no, I know that because I've been told by producers of those shows, and people have come to me offline and told me, because I get that asked all the time, and people have asked Amy on my behalf to look into my case. And I don't know her show specifically, but from what I'm told, I think they would have been more successful than Ghost Adventures, just by the manner in which I'm told how she and her partner conduct investigations. Mm-hmm. A lot of what we found, and I found with the Bothell House, we found outside the Bothell House. I had to spend a lot of hours in libraries and in the county records office pulling up history of the land, of the house, and the house itself and the previous tenants who lived there. You're not going to find that information inside a home. You're going to have to go to the county records office. And I did, Steve and Don did. And that in itself leads to other breadcrumbs that leads to other breadcrumbs. But that's pretty much the reason why. They are very familiar with this case in this house, but it's in a clause that they are not to touch each other's
Wow. Well, and that's not the stars of those shows. That's the lawyers behind the network and all of that. So we really can't give Amy Allen a hard time. I'm sure she would love to, right? You know, I'm sure she would love to. But the lawyers behind it really get in the way of things, and that is, again, really unfortunate. On the phone, I do have to head to a break, but will you hang on over the break? We can talk to you when we come back?
Sure.
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. And Keith, don't go anywhere here. Let's take a little break. I know I need to just, breathe and think for a second, what with everything that we're dealing with here. And if you are out there and maybe you're shy, maybe you don't want to call or something like that, you're more than welcome to send me a message or a question into the Looking Glass if you have access to that. Our subscribers to our archive have access to that. And I'm more than happy to get your questions on the air or your comments on the air with Keith Linder. A very unique and standout case in all hauntings I've ever heard of. I mean, this is, we just heard the last break, that Amityville ad, and I was thinking to myself, boy, Keith Linder makes Amityville look like kindergarten. Truly, this is next level hauntings. I'm Heather Wade. We'll be right back, everybody.
I've got a black magic woman, got me so blind I can't see. That she's a black magic woman, she's trying to make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby.
Settle down, people. We at Duluth Trading need to come up with a name for our jeans that have extra room in the crotch to accommodate a man's business when he crouches. No bad ideas. Gibbons?
Package protector.
Too many P's.
Nard yard.
Too rhymey.
Loin layer.
Too haremy.
Coin purse. Purse.
Too redundant.
Love apple basket.
Too fruity.
Tater tots lodge.
That doesn't make any sense.
Dangler den.
I actually like that.
How about that over?
I can't believe you just said that.
Sorry.
Gooseberry surprise!
I don't even know what that means.
I know. Prune room.
Don't be ridiculous. Wait a minute. Something room.
What about ballroom?
Ballroom jeans. Mitchell, finally some good has come from you always thinking with your trousers.
Ballroom jeans from Duluth Trading. The hidden crotch gusset gives you more room so you can crouch without the ouch. Get yours at one place. DuluthTrading.com. And in case you didn't get it the first time,
DuluthTrading.com. On October 2nd, at 6:45 a.m., mass murderer Horace Pinker was put to death. Now, he's really mad.
I don't think he's dead. Get him out of here!
From Wes Craven, creator of the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
No more! Come on!
Shocker. From Universal, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprem. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprem increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation. and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com. Or to speak with a trained consultant. Give Angioprim a call at 954-882-7221. That's 954-882-7221.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you don't want your sensitive documents in the hands of bad people. If I'm right about that, you're going to love the good people at Ray's Trash. They come to your home or office with a serious paper shredding truck and apply some pretty rude behavior to your unwanted documents. After the secure NAID certified Shred Fest, no one will be able to make heads or tails out of your paper files. Want to sleep better? Get to Ray'sTrash.com.
Ray'sTrash.com.
Ray's Trash.
Very superstitious.
Anybody hit me? This is UN Nation. We need some help down here. Found something in the ice. We found something.
John Carpenter's The Thing. Screenplay by Bill Lancaster. The Thing. The ultimate in alien terror. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
Hi there, Tom Bodette. I think this internet radio is really going to catch on, so I've decided to start my own band, Tom and the Bodettes. We sound like a mix between pop polka and grunge glam, but bluesy. Anytime we're on the road, we stay at Motel 6. They've got clean, comfortable rooms at the lowest price of any national chain. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some rocking to do. Hello, Columbus! I'm Tom Bodette from Motel6.com, and we'll leave the light on for you.
We have ignitions.
I've been drifting on the sea of heartbreak, trying to get myself ashore for so long, for so long. Listening to the strangest stories, wondering where it all went wrong for so long, for so long.
The Kingdom of Nye with Heather Wade. You found an oasis for the mind. To call the show, dial 1-775-298-5600. That's 1-775-298-5600. First-time callers dial 1-775-293-4500. That's 1-775-293-4500.
We are quickly running out of airtime. If you would like to call in, take this opportunity. Pick up that telephonic device and start manipulating it right now before, well, we run out of airtime for you to do that. Now, we've got a caller standing by. I've got another response from Turquoise Diva in the Looking Glass here about the heartbeat, and we'll get to that. But first, welcome back, Keith. And you said earlier, your horror is our entertainment, and I got my heart just so went out to you when you said that. I just thought, oh my God, I mean, this is just a whole other realm of this sort of activity. I feel bad when I say the word story because it's not a story. This is your life. This is what you're living with every day, and you are out there reaching out for help and for answers, and there's not a whole lot of that. And then there's ridicule to go along with that, just to rub salt into the wound there, and it's still going on to this day. When you go to bed tonight, that heartbeat will probably be there, and I wish there was something more I could do than bring you on and have you tell your story. I just, I wish there was something useful that I could do for you, because, it's not so much entertainment to me as showing people, look, this is real. What's going on out there? The possibilities of this happening to somebody else in their house is quite real. Rare, but real. And I don't know really what much good it does to say all that to you, but that's what's been going on through my head.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any silver lining out of any of this, and it's gonna sound weird coming from me, is, looking back, I'm sort of glad that Ghost Adventures didn't get any evidence, because it would have ended right there. Meaning, I would not have ever thought to purchase digital stethoscopes or analyze the wall ratings and come up with bone black, meaning that's what the analysis proved, what the black substance was made out of. Ghost Adventures would have saw an orb or a dust particle and said, "Oh my God, it's the demon," and that would have been it for me and Tina. We would have moved out the house, and that would have satisfied us. But guess what? Look what has been uncovered, and we're on year 6 of this. This is 2020 of the evidence, and it's out there. It's not my evidence. It's the world, it's the paranormal community's evidence. Anybody listening can go to YouTube and download the video, analyze it, spice it up, do whatever. I don't do much to it except upload it. Mm-hmm. And listen to it for yourselves. Listen to what the other investigators on their channels or in the books they've read or in the reports they've posted online. And it'd be hard, if not almost impossible, to walk away and say, that's all fake. There's just too many variables now that you would have to, go one by one and pluck away at. And there's just too many of them right now. So, I think, what makes me happy is people come back to me and email me, and they find a voice, and after vetting it, I hear it like, oh, that is a voice. I never heard that. Or, oh, that heartbeat. Oh, I never thought of it from that angle. Let me go analyze that further. And they're right. Like I said, they come from all walks of life, and they bring their experience with them, and they can be able to discern, and they educate me. So I think that's the silver lining, which, like I said, keeps me sane. The poking and the prodding.
Oh, God. Well, let's go to the phone here. On the phone, you're on the air with Keith Linder. Thank you for your patience. You're on the air.
Well, hello again, and thanks for getting me on quickly, Heather. I'm Vaughn from Phoenix there.
Oh, well, glad to hear you. Glad you're calling, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And Keith, pleasure having you on your show. I've heard you 3 times so far. And listening to your story 3 times, I have no reason to disbelieve that you've been through something incredible. I was actually going to reflect Heather's sentiments and ask you why you didn't just cast these demons out of your life through prayer or ritual or something like that. But listening to your last statement, now I tend to wonder whether you tend to keep these things around like pets for the rest of your life. It sounds like you're experimenting on them.
Not anymore. My belief is, while I'm having this phenomena, and it's through no control of my own, a story only goes so far. If I can capture it, and it's very difficult to capture. If I can capture it, it's a shot in the dark. It's called getting lucky. But if I can get it and put it out there for somebody else There's two things that tend to happen. Confirmation, meaning that I've never put anything out that somebody else didn't come behind me and said, oh, I have that too. I'm by no stretch of the imagination the only one going through heartbeat phenomena. No way. And others throughout the world over, tell me. Now, on the flip side, yeah, that I am trying to get rid, bring people in, whatnot. You know, I'm a regular go-lucky guy. I'm just me. I didn't wish it upon me. I'm not diving into the dark stuff. I don't have a Ouija board. I don't do anything nefarious. I treat people like they want to be treated, and I follow the golden rule. I just think through my technical background, through my wherewithal, and to what I know and what I've seen, if I'm able to capture it, almost sort of like trying to turn lemons into lemonade from a knowledge standpoint, because this is going to survive me. Once it's out there on the internet, YouTube is not going anywhere. That data will always be there. Largest database in the world is the internet, and it's not going to go anywhere. Somebody is going to make heads or tails out of this one day, and they're going to be like, aha, oh, wow, yeah. And I might not be around when they do, but in the meantime, I can at least do my part to try to give it to them. That's why I don't edit or splice up or don't Hollywood my videos on YouTube. I've been asked, why has it got to be 6 hours long or 4 hours long? And I'm like, hey, that's how it went down. That's how it goes in my world. I'm not going to give you the flash, the 20-second ooh-rah, because you're not going to appreciate it. If you appreciate it when you don't know when the bang is coming. When I just tell you there's a bang in this video,
yeah,
and then 2 hours in, boom, whoa, you was multitasking. Yeah, you didn't know it was coming, did you? Imagine me flipping channels and that bang came. So now that puts you into my world, and I've learned through talking to people, they get more out of that. Yeah.
Well, to respond to Vaughn here, I think if this thing could be prayed away, it would have been already. I think if there was any way to do that, you would have done that. You've had Bibles catch on fire in the actual Bothell house. I'm sure you think every day to yourself, I wish this would end. I wish this was over with. I wish I could just sleep one night through without this weird heartbeat coming out of my mattress. So, keeping the beings as a pet, I don't know about that, but I think that if you could have gotten rid of it, Keith, that you would have.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. Give me a silver bullet that gets rid of it. Oh yeah. Or a Bible quote or a verse. By far. And I mean that. I mean, when I get on my knees and I pray, and I'm sincere, but like I always said, like my grandmother always taught me, you're still breathing. You still got 2 legs, 2 arms, and 2 hands, and you got your sanity. So, it might not be meant for you, Keith, to figure out why you, but ask yourself the other question, why not you? I mean,
well, you've got your sanity for now. I don't know how much longer. Yeah. Vaughn, on the phone there, your response?
All I can say is I hope you find what you're looking for, and I'm sorry for the chaos I know it's caused in your life. I've heard a lot of the stories about the burning Bibles and such. It's just, I'm of a firm belief that nothing can stay within our space unless we give it some sort of agreement. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, I do appreciate your call and your perspective on this. I know Vaughn is he's a hard guy to impress. Let me put it that way. He doesn't just buy whatever he hears. He's quite skeptical, and I appreciate having that kind of perspective in my audience. I don't want an audience that's just going to accept everything. I want people in my audience to sort of question and think about what they hear. Okay. And so he is sort of my ideal audience member out there. And even he is saying, look, I've listened to you and it's pretty clear you have something going on around you that is unprecedented. Yeah. Wow. Well, you want to take another call, Keith?
Oh, yes.
All right. Let's wait. Oh, just 1 second. I don't want to forget here. I did have that other message from Turquoise Diva regarding the heartbeat.
Yes.
Turquoise Diva says here, Heather, there are 4 sections of your heart. When blood pumps through your tricuspid and mitral valves, they close, and then the blood flows to the aorta and the pulmonary valves. A very definite thump, bump, and a swishing sound is the echo that she does not hear in the audio. So I think that's what she's explaining, why she said before that is not a heartbeat, because she just doesn't hear that underlying echo. And I was thinking about that when I read Turquoise Diva. And Turquoise Diva, by the way, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for helping us out here tonight with your messages. What I was thinking about when I read that, Keith, is, okay, this is not something that can be seen. If it is seen, it's a little shadow being. Maybe we don't hear the blood rushing because there is no blood rushing.
Yeah, one thing we have to be, you bring up an excellent point. One thing I want to be crystal clear. We shouldn't take the word heartbeat literally.
Right.
Keep in mind what I'm saying by heartbeat is my placeholder for what else could it be.
Yeah.
I know it's not a heartbeat in the literal sense of blood moving and all that, for the simple fact of coming through my bed. There have been other poltergeist noises, rappings, loud bangs, swishing sounds, taps, that some investigators have written books about, where the noise seems manufactured. The noise, when compared to a normal rapping sound, of banging of 2 plywood, the decibel is off. The decibel spectrum, the frequency doesn't fit the normal sound pattern for that particular sound. There's a huge discrepancy there, huge variance. This would be the same thing. What makes this, for lack of a better word, paranormal is it's a heartbeat coming from a bed or pillow or mattress, which we all know is not real. There's no blood or veins or heart in a bed, pillow, or mattress.
It's not alive, yeah.
It's not alive. So the noise could be artificial, probably is artificial, but it is definitely noise, and it's their imitation to be determined if it's a poor or accurate or close to imitation of a heartbeat. But there's a cotillion heartbeats out there in the world. That we just can't say it's not human, but it's something. It's some sort of pitter pat, and it's definitely present. And I hear it with the naked ear, and you can feel the pulsation, which is another indicator that it's there. We know it gives off a milligauss reading. 9 was what Steve registered, and others have registered sort of similar milligauss reading. So that in itself adds weight, or makes you wonder, what is that? What kitchen appliance has a 9 milligauss, like a toaster does? Your regular coffee machine, coffee maker, when plugged into the wall, might give off a 9 milligauss reading if you sway the AMF above it. But that's the spectrum that we live in. But it is abnormal, and it is anomaly, and it has been reported throughout poltergeist cases in the past.
Well, there's nothing natural about it at all. On the North American Skype, you're on the air with Keith Linder. Welcome to the show.
Hi, it's Adrian from Creepy, Connecticut.
Well, you're sounding really good tonight on that Skype. Gosh, nice and clear.
I think everyone should take a swing at Skype. It's not that hard to set up, and it's enjoyable while you're waiting. You can listen to the show. It's worth it.
Well, and it sounds fantastic. You sound like you're sitting here with us. Well, I'm very interested in your perspective, your ideas of what you've heard tonight. Adrian?
I have one. Keith, I have a question for you. I know that when you moved into the house, you assumed this was pre-existing in the house because there's no other explanation. I'm also assuming that you couldn't find out any history of the people or former tenants or anything that would lead you to believe it was pre-existing. It's just that you experienced this. Is that correct?
No, actually, we did find a family who had similar activity. 2008, 2009. This was 4 to 5 years before me and Tina moved into the home. We moved in 2012. Rhonda, that's her name, real name. She's in book 1 and book 2. How I found her was we were still periodically getting mail delivered to us for previous tenants of the home. Mm-hmm. And during the middle of our extreme activity, I took one of these letters and was able to find her on Facebook. And when I found her, I emailed her instant messenger. And I said, hey, my name is Keith Linder. I live in a Bothell house. I think you used to live here. And we've been having some strange things happen. I didn't tell her or go into specifics. All I asked her was anything weird about the home that you experienced, that you noticed? And she told me. She didn't want to volunteer it. She was very nervous and apprehensive. It took her 3 more months because she told me she didn't want to go into detail right now, but she needed to think about it. Well, in 2.5 to 3 months later, she emailed me again and said, hey, Keith, I just want to let you know I did not forget about you. But my husband and I, when you originally emailed me, we had just gotten back together. We divorced in that house, and it was weird the day you contacted us is when we got back together. And he doesn't want me to contact you. He said, forget it, leave it alone. But she said, I feel it's my Christian duty to tell you. And now I'm quoting her. But she said, it was a living hell in that house. She said that house was the beginning and the end for everything with her family, meaning their 3 children and their husband. And she said, she started naming off the activity that they had: kitchen cabinet doors slamming, waking up, finding kitchen cabinet doors open, door slams, TV going off and on. They had a live-in nanny who took care of the kids, who always spoke about the phantom footsteps. And these are things me and Tina have already been experiencing. And just to hear it from her mouth, to tell me 5 years prior to me and Tina moving in addition to the shadowy figure, she said her son saw them all the time in his room. His room was my office, where my poster caught fire, and all the activity, or a majority activity in our home, was in my office. That was his room. And that's where he saw the shadowy figures, which is where I saw them. And so that was, for me, a relief, because up until that time, me and Tina didn't know what was happening. We didn't know if we brought this in with us. Me and Tina were living together. We were together 2 years, but I had my own place. She had hers. And it was just weird. None of us had activity in our own apartments, in our own homes. And now you're moving into one roof, and you sort of worry about your partner. Do you know them well or not well enough? And it was a mental finger pointing. But when Rhonda told me about their experience, and I was able to verify some of what she told me by pulling the 911 records of the home. She told me she was suicidal in the home. She had 5 suicidal attempts where she tried to kill herself. And that was verifiable. That was easily verifiable for me to go look up 911 records to match the time and date and look at the police reports that they wrote upon arriving on the scene. So, yeah, definitely something there. Of course, the land underneath the home, later stuff we found out were Native American linkage. Some of the wall writings were written in Native American or pictogram or calligraphy, going back to the bone black, the black substance. Bone black is a black oil, black paint used in the 1800s, or further than that, really, as far as pictograms or calligraphy. It's an organic paint. It's made from bone, buffalo, bison, or bone ash. It's incinerated cow bone, incinerated buffalo bone. It's 100% organic. It's not man-made. And that was the majority of the wall writings in the office. All that 666 stuff, or upside down stick figure man did you see, or Die KL, which is my initials that they wrote a lot, Die KL. We analyzed that. I did, and it came back bone black.
Okay, that's really intense. The reason why I had asked is because the activity that you've experienced sound very familiar. from what one unfortunate man went through. He was very geeky. I don't know if he was an engineer, electrician, but he was called to a house at a very specific time for an appointment, because I know you're an IT guy. I didn't know if you were doing house calls, but this poor guy was told to knock at somebody's door at exactly 3 p.m. in the afternoon, which he did. No one answered. He opened the door, and there was a ritual going on. A woman, some sorceress, was performing an exorcism on a group, and all those demons went into him. He didn't know it, but they followed him home, and he had the little shadow 1 foot tall figures. He had issues with the bed, things breaking, running around. His life became an instant nightmare that day.
Did he solve that? What happened to him?
I can't remember. I remember him bringing his friend in, and they got computers and they got all the electronics that they possibly could to document it, and they actually were able to film it. I saw it. It was on TV, and I'm going to have to relocate that one to get more information, because I don't think I've seen it in months.
Yeah, could you look that up and maybe give Keith Linder here a name or a name of a show or an episode that he can follow up on? Because I bet Keith would love to know more about that. Keith, do you have a public email address that you give out at all?
Yeah, it's in my book. It's I'll give it over there because it's in both books. Macudor 2. It's MAC QDOR the number 2 at gmail.com. So Macudor2 at gmail.com. Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
I'd love that, Adrian, if you could give him that, because I think right now the best avenue that Keith Linder has is he's doing his own documenting and he's doing his own research. And if you can help him out with somebody else's story, maybe Keith can read that, listen to that, whatever it is, watch the episode or something, and maybe that might lead him further to some sort of answers. So I appreciate your call, Adrian.
Okay. I will get around that. Thanks.
Well,
Have a good night.
Very much appreciate it. Thank you. Well, I don't know about having a good night now. I mean, I'm going to be up all night, Keith. I often get on here, Keith, and I talk about there is an unseen world around us. I can just feel it. We all sort of sense it in this world. We all, and even if a person isn't interested in the paranormal, everyone at some point in their life will have the existential moment where you go, really, is this all there is? It's just I go to work and I come home and then watch TV and have dinner, wake up, rinse, repeat. That's all there is. We all can sense there's more to this life. The fact that we have the established religions that we do tell us that people throughout the years have sensed there is more to this life, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And unfortunately, you have been living with the very dark side of the unseen that's out there. And your case proves to us, like almost no other case has, that this is not just in the realm of imagination. It's not just in your dreams. It's not just a spooky feeling in the room. You are getting written on the walls of your house, Die KL. That stands out, and it stands the head and shoulders above almost every case I've heard some pretty, blood-curdling cases, and yours stands alone as particularly, this is just scary, Keith. This tells us that evil is real. And that is a devastating thing. Do you ever think about that stuff?
Yeah, when I got the results of the wall writings and they told me it was bone black, I never heard of bone black. I don't know what bone black is, but when I researched it and found out it was incinerated cow bone, and you got to understand, finding out what it is just half the puzzle. Mm-hmm. All right. The other half is how do they get it on your wall? Bone black by itself is not easy to paint on a wall. It needs an adhesive to adhere to a surface, But further research proved that bone black makes its own adhesive called Dippel's oil. And your listeners can Google Dippel's oil to find out who coined that phrase, but it comes out of Europe. The founder of Dippel's oil is a derivative of bone black. It's like a olive oil, canola oil complexion-like substance. And it was used back in the early time periods, Picasso and Rembrandt and whatnot, as a paint adhesive. Olive oil, up until a time being, was a often used paint adhesive for painters. That's why these old paintings are yellow. Mona Lisa, she's yellow because she's got yellow olive oil. That's what they use. And they use this poacher guy, and we still don't know where he got the bone black from. Yeah, it's cow bone, but where's the cow or the buffalo? How many? Where did this come from? I mean, you can't go to Home Depot and say you want a gallon of bone black. They'll look at you funny. There's only one store in the country that sells it, and it's by small quantities, only 2 or 3 that sell it in the entire world. And it's very hard to come by, and it's very expensive. And nobody is going to, me, an IT professional moving into a home in a suburb of Seattle, I'm going to put bone black on my wall, when there's a cotillion other black paints I could choose from. So, yeah, but the application method is the other puzzle of how did they get it on the wall, how did they get it on the ceiling, and not on any other thing. You and I, when we paint a room, what the first thing we do? We cover everything up, right? I mean, we're taping off stuff, we're moving stuff around. They're doing this relatively quick. I mean, we go to the store, come back, the room is painted all over. You and I couldn't do that. We couldn't do some of the markings go behind the heavy furniture. And the furniture hasn't been moved, mind you. The furniture is still in its place. And how did they get the markings behind that? How did they get it behind the computer monitor, the desk, the entertainment center? These things, a human being can do that. You would start in an open area and continue. No, these markings appear or begin behind heavy furniture in my office, which, like I said, begs the question of how are they able to do this? Because they have other access in our reality through other dimensions. They can access and whatnot through these type of dimensions, and it's easy for them, where you and I in our 3D, 4D space, it's just virtually impossible. There's no angle I could use with my arm or wrist without dislocating my shoulder in 10 places to paint behind an entertainment center. But they do it relatively quick and easy, and they use bone char or incinerated cow bone just to bring the point home even more of this is what we can do. We'll do it over and over and over, and this is what we are. This is what we do. But yeah, it goes back to the word of, they're evil. Yeah, there's an evil component to it. There's an audacity component to it.
Yeah, this is something old. This is something that has been in that location, I think, for a long, long time. I think for whatever reason now, it's taken this interest in you, in ruining your life, in any which way it can. And you are still dealing with this. I mean, I'm really out of time here on the show, Keith, but I have to ask you, I can't just end this, suddenly right here. I have to ask you, what do you plan on doing next? What is next for you in your life? You've got your job still, I take it?
Yeah, job is good.
Okay.
Working from home, like everybody else, trying to maintain through this COVID madness, but work from home. I've been with the company 7 years. Started this company right when I moved into the Martha House, but I'm still with the company. And there will be a book 3. Book 3 I'm writing. I'm well ahead of schedule. Thank you, COVID. But there will be a book 3. But book 3 is not nonfiction. Book 3 is the physics. It's the physics behind the phenomena. If you've ever read, if your listeners have ever read, in my opinion, one of the greatest books ever written, Stephen Hawking's book, A Brief History of Time, where he breaks down just the fundamentals of the universe, the physics of the universe, and how the universe works in the easiest explanation in terms. It's not a thick book. If you read the brief history of time, it's not a dictionary, but he's able to explain it to where you walk away, wow, the universe is amazing. This book 3 is going to go after the physics of everything we've talked about tonight and more that happened in the Bothell House and in other poltergeist cases, because they're all similar. All cases have their uniqueness, but they also have the similarities. I'm not the first one to experience Bible burnings. I'm not the first one to experience wall writings. But there's a phenomena there. There's a science there. We might not understand it, but there's some things within science that we know that we can try to at least come up to some sort of interesting theory of how they do it. And we're going to have to step outside the paranormal lore and get into the physics and the quantum mechanics lore to better understand. Because trust me, the poltergeists that I've seen are dialed in to quantum mechanics. They're dialed in.
Well, I can't wait to have that discussion with you. Would you come on to talk about this stuff?
That's going to be that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'll come back because that's the stuff I've discovered through my digging, through my research. And like before, I was in the county records office or in paranormal online libraries. I've been spending all my time in the physics libraries and learning things like the Lisa Randalls and whatnot. And you'd be surprised. Go to Lisa Randall's website. Here's some of the things she says about theoretical physics and the multi-dimensions and the parallel universes that run concurrent to our own. You'll start to figure out, okay, all right, some of that makes sense.
Well, some of it, not all of it. That's why it's still called the unexplained. That's why we still refer to it as the supernatural and not exactly natural. But I've always believed that this sort of phenomena is part of our world. We just don't understand it yet. And if you're going to look at the science and the physics behind it, of the body of evidence that you have here, incredible mind-blowing body of evidence that you have, I am way interested. I am so interested to have that talk with you again whenever you feel like it. I mean, I could just bring you on next week. There's so much to talk about with your case. We could just keep talking about it, and the next week I could bring you on and we could keep on talking about it. I mean, there is so much to your case, Keith. But whenever you're ready, you just get in touch with us. You get in touch with my producer, get in touch with me, however you want to do it. And I'm more than happy to put you on. Now, the books that we've been referring to all night, number 1, The Bothell Hell House, Poltergeist of Washington State. Attachments is the second one, Poltergeist of Washington State Part 2. So calling it Attachments, you must have the idea that this thing is now attached to you since you've moved.
Yeah, and that's why I named the book Attachments, because after the water puddle and the other incidents in my new place of residence, I always thought I would, based on I was having attacks while traveling on business, while living in the Bothell Hell House, but you never know until you're completely out of the home. And when I completely moved out of the home, and, I'd be at work and the email goes out to every employer in the building. Hey, there's a car in the garage. This lights is just flicking off and on, going crazy, and the horns are going crazy. And sure enough, it's my car. I go down there and turn it off, go back up. Hey, there's a car down there doing it again. Somebody's car is going crazy again. It's my car. And those who know about my house who know me, that's Keith. It's that haunted guy. Yeah. His car's trunk is up, or all the doors are open. All the doors, Heather, are open. Every last one of them open.
Good God.
The hood, the trunk, passenger, front passenger, back passenger, driver's side, and the left side, all open. The lights are just wailing.
And it was locked and in a parking lot or parking garage.
Yeah, and it's not one of those instances, sometimes somebody's, maybe your key fob triggered it because you're sitting down or moving. We've all opened our car door while inside our home accidentally. No, this is a skyscraper building. I'm on the 47th floor. My car is underground, 5 levels underground. there's no car fob traveling that far. There's no car fob in the world that's going to open up your door. Okay.
No, not all of them. It might unlock them, but it's not going to physically open all of them. That's
all open. And the trunk and the hood and the lights are wailing. The brake lights are wailing. The brake lights. There's nobody in the car. What's triggering the brake lights? So it felt good, or I actually felt good, but it felt accurate to title the book Attachment, because I was like, what am I going to name this book? What am I? Just keep it simple, dude. Attachments. I mean, that's what you're dealing with.
Well, your case, I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but your case here is unlike anything else I have ever heard. More evidence, more credibility to it, and not to diminish other cases that I've heard about at all. Don't get me wrong, but your case is just, I hate to say it's the ding ding, you're the winner. This is the most intense sort of case I have ever heard of. And so that you're able to, and this is another thing I wanted to say before we end here, and I get it that we're going over time, but I think, Keith, you deserve at least to hear that you should be commended for, number one, keeping a level head through this whole thing and not going completely out of your mind, which I'm sure you deal with that. You should also be commended for the documenting of the evidence that you have done. You should be commended for not participating in the nastiness of the paranormal community. They've done that to you, and you just said, well, okay, fine, I'm going to carry on. You could have gotten involved in drama and everything, and you didn't. You have treated this entire situation with a level of class that I don't see very often from people in this world of the paranormal community, the UFO community, that sort of thing. There's a lot of bickering. There's a lot of backstabbing and all of that goes on in this community, and you just haven't participated in that. You just kept documenting. You kept experiencing it. You kept making videos. You put those videos out for anybody to look at and examine, and you really should be commended for what you've done here. And if you're going to write a third book, then we are all incredibly lucky. We should count our lucky stars that you're continuing to do the research. Most people would have given up and just checked themselves into the loony bin a long time ago, Keith.
I know. I'll probably do that after the third book. They probably got a room waiting on me. Like, we've been waiting on you.
Yeah, well, then we'll be both going in together, because the activity that I have is just romper room compared to what you're going through. The activity I have in my house is just kind of cute compared to what you're dealing with. And I can never capture anything. It's all sort of, it does not even compare to what you're going through. And I got a text from producer Tony here while we were doing the show. He sent me this, and I'm just going to read it directly from to you here in producer Tony's own words. He says, Keith sure brought the goods tonight. If this blank was happening in my house, I'd be gone. I'd just want to die. I don't think I could deal with it. That's what producer Tony said. He'd want to die. How you stand on your own 2 feet and come on shows like this and talk about it, Keith, I really don't know. And I feel sort of bad, because for me, maybe other shows do turn this sort of thing into entertainment, and maybe it's seen as entertainment. I'm doing this, putting you on, conducting this interview for a completely different reason. I want to show people this is real and this exists. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever come to any answers, but what I can do is take people like you who are going through this and put you, I guess, on display, as it were, and say, okay, guys, people out there that are into the paranormal, you want to get scared? Here's Keith Linder. Listen to what he has to say. And at least that lets people know this stuff is going on. There are cases out there with evidence that can be measured, photographed, and cannot be explained by anybody that you call. And I really deeply, from my heart, Keith, I really want to thank you for that, for coming on anyway. You should be tired of all of us out here so interested in your story. I'm not interested in your story for the normal morbid reasons. I want to show people this is real. Evil is real.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. And like I said, the back and forth discussion is sort of therapeutic, stimulating. Like I said, lets me know, I'm not crazy. I'm not loony bin. And my appreciation, satisfaction is for listeners and anybody to go listen to it, watch it, read it, whatever, and then, if it drops their mouth and they're like, wow, ow, I didn't know, if it keeps them from playing nonchalantly with the Ouija board or thinking they want to just go into a haunted house free willy and not understand the repercussions, then that's fine for me, because trust me, for those out there who want to entertain the thought of getting into the darkness, they don't suffer fools, and it's not a faucet that you cannot all the time turn off when you want it to. And be careful. But I think my story educates people in that regard to take it seriously, educate yourself. There's more to be discovered, and this is just one avenue to get us there. But it is, by its own meaning, interesting. And what I get, I just share it. That's all I do. I just share it. I just throw it out there and share it, and people make of it what you will. And I never change my story. I won't alter it. I won't sugarcoat it. I won't pull punches. I've been told by producers and TV shows and offered all kind of deals and whatnot, and they want me to splice it up, shorten it up. And I'm like, it doesn't need none of that. I'm not going to turn a 400-page book into 200 pages if it's going to leave valuable information out. So that is why this story I tell. So thanks for having me and letting me get that out there, because there's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff about the Baltimore.
Oh, it is. It's many layered. There are unexpected things, and I really do think that what you've got is the real deal, unfortunately. And I think that through the years, we've never had the proper technology to really capture it and document it, and now we do. And so you're able to do that, and maybe the reality of this stuff is a little different than the stories that we read from the books.
Yeah, because like I said, now we got some of the technology that sheds more light. And Nikki Novell said it best when she felt the heartbeats with her own hands. She was like, I felt inadequate because I'm an investigator, but I had nothing on my person, nothing on my crate or treasure or on my suitcase to pull out and capture that phenomena. This is just a one personal experience phenomena. I can go back and tell it to 20 people, but you, as a researcher, you want that evidence to leave the house with you. And she can capture that pulsating coming from my mattress with her hand. You can't hold it in your hand and put it in a jar or something and say, I got it. No. But she can tell that story. And then when you add the audio that your listeners heard tonight and previous other poltergeist cases of something similar, yeah, you can connect the dots and come up with the conclusion. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's all there. It makes sense. Yeah, it took a while, but you got to go piecemeal with the truth. You got to go piecemeal. It's a riddle to be solved. And yeah, thanks for the audio, Keith, because other people who've had pulsations come in their mattress have heard my audio. They're like, wow, dude, you got it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and I am going to take that amplified clip and email that to you. You'll get an email from WeTransfer, and I promise you there's nothing funny about it. It's just a very efficient way to send large files. It'll have a download link in there. You know about WeTransfer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So you'll know. I have some people, I send them the large files, and then they don't download it because they're scared. They think it's some sort of phishing thing or something. But I will do that for you tonight. You'll get that in your email tonight. Now, when I get off the air here, just allow me 15, 20 minutes to go, pour a drink or get a something to, cause I can't, oh my God. I mean, this is just one of those times. What's that?
I said, you got some Jack Daniels or something?
Well, I think I have some 16-year-old scotch up there.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna need something, and I'm honest with you, Keith. I am not the drinking type, but you have driven me to that point that I need a drink, and I am half tempted to send you a bottle of scotch just to keep in your house for when it gets to be too much. You may need to get out the glass and get out the bottle and just, sometimes when it gets to be too much, that's what adults do.
Yeah, hey, it happens. Trust me.
Yeah. God. Well, I will send you that file when we wrap it up here. And I know I'm keeping you a little longer than we intended, but like I said, I couldn't just end it. Sometimes the clock just doesn't agree with the conversation as it's unfolding. And I thought, it would be a disservice to you. It would be rude to you. And also to not thank you for everything you've done. Would be negligent. So I took the extra time here to make sure you understand how grateful I am. I can't speak for the paranormal community because, Keith, I'm the red-headed stepchild of the paranormal community, okay? I'm the black sheep of the paranormal community. They wish I would just go away. So, when you're talking about all of that, catching flack and everything, look, I'm just sitting over here nodding like, yeah, that sounds about right. That does sound about how you would be treated. So, look, I understand. I can relate, and you are always welcome here. I won't judge what you have to say, even if it is completely fantastic. You've got an ear here. You've got the welcome mat out, and the light is always on for you at the Kingdom of Nye.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. Thank you. And I will be back for book 3. It's a whopper. Get ready. It's the stuff. It's not manufactured. It's just true. It's unbelievable what I've found. And I'm just like, wow. I'm wowed. Based on everything I've seen, I'm wowed.
Wow. Well, maybe that ought to be the title. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Or Science of the Unknown, or so. I don't know. But if you're going to get into the science of the unexplained, well, you could not have found a better way to get my attention. And just so you know, if it ever does get too bad, I was kidding. You can come out here. It's fine. It'll probably come with you and everything, but I was just kidding. I didn't mean anything bad about that. So if people want to keep up with you, do you make regular posts on social media or anything? Or I know you've got your website here, demonsinseattle.com. We've got americansupernatural.com, and you're on Facebook. Is there anywhere where you put regular posts of what's going on, or do you just post a book when the book comes out?
No, there's 2 social media sites that I frequent every day. One is Facebook, one is Twitter. The Facebook is Washington State Poltergeists. Washington State Poltergeists is the name of it. Or you just type in Keith Linder, it'll lead you there. That's where all updates and whatnot end up, evidence. And then Twitter is just, Twitter is just announcements, just URL if a new video gets uploaded to YouTube. Obviously, I get that and tweet it out. So those 2 avenues are generally where you're going to see me on a daily basis. But also, the YouTube channel is where people should really live. And there's a video, whatever your forte is about the paranormal. Trust me, there's a video of it waiting for you. If you like wall writings, if you like burnt Bibles, you like burnt this, EVPs, tons of that. There's 3-4 documentaries, not by me, but by the researchers themselves on there. So just countless hours and hours and hours and hours of video in 1080p that individuals can watch at their leisure, at their own leisure. Where, there's plenty of other heartbeat videos as well. There's more in depth about the software, the hardware used to capture the heartbeats. We didn't talk about the teddy bear experiment, but that's on there as well. There's a lot of stuff that anybody would they would just spend a day there and just comb through the channel and then see. And usually, if you're thorough combing through, you might find something that nobody ever seen or caught, and bring it to my attention. Type in the comment section and say, "Hey, it's, timestamp it." I'll jump in and look at it and put it through the ringer, and then thumbs up and like, yeah, because that's how we found a lot of stuff. Is other people, have a tenacity, a talent, that I don't have, and they come up and find stuff, and I show it to Steve and Dawn and everybody. Like, yeah, that's a legitimate EVP. Wow, we missed that one.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go and spend some time there because I can take those audio clips and maybe just amplify them or something like that. I know you've always given me an open invitation to do that.
Oh, yeah, by all means, feel free to. Anybody feel free to, and, amplify it and ping me or whatever, and I'll put it back up to the amplified version. I have no problem doing that.
All right. Well, great. Well, gosh, I apologize for keeping you a little later than intended, but I think we got some things said that needed to be said. And you reminded me about your YouTube channel. I will go over there and see what I can find. And anything that I find, I will keep. I have actually, you probably don't even know this, Keith. I have a file for you here on one of my computers, and it's just the audio clips and stuff that I've gotten from you. So I will continue to add to that, and anything that I find, I will give it to you so you have the same version of that audio. I'll send you the amplified heartbeat sound after I have some sort of a drink or something here after we wrap up the show, so that you have that. And I can't wait for what comes next. If something crazy happens and you just want to call us up and say, "Hey, Heather, something crazy happened. I need to get on the air tonight." You don't be shy, okay?
Okay.
You're welcome to call me. And we'll put you on if there's something you need to get on and talk about. I'm more than happy to do that for you. So I will get out of your hair for the night. I know I've kept you up pretty late here tonight. And just thank you. And God, it sounds so, I don't know, just inadequate to say be strong. You're already strong. You don't need me to tell you, be strong. You are already strong. You are already a warrior, able to withstand this and deal with it. And, God, I wish I could just give you a hug. But keep it on, and get into the science. Get into that, and I think that is the absolute right way to go.
Yep. That's the rewarding avenue I'm on right now. So, and I'm ahead of schedule because can't go anywhere.
You're right. Yeah, God. That's a good thing and a bad thing, I suppose. Well, Keith, you are something else. That's all I can tell you. And gosh, my CD player did this last night too. It just seems to go to sleep. Well, this is the second night in the row talking about basically hauntings and ghosts, so I'm not surprised the little weird things happen in the studio. But here we go. We'll just close out with Crystal Gale here tonight. My friend, you are something else. I don't know really what to say. And keep documenting the evidence. That is Keith Linder. Everybody, demonsinseattle.com. Do go over to his YouTube channel. I believe it's Keith L. on YouTube. But if you search Keith Linder, Demons in Seattle, his YouTube channel will come up on there on YouTube. Search for him on Facebook. Search for him on Twitter. And we'll keep an eye on this as his story continues to develop. And I don't know about you, but I will not be turning the lights off in my house tonight. It's all we have time for. In fact, 27 minutes overtime for me. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this has inspired you to think, inspired you to maybe wonder about this life. All I can tell you is there's more than meets the eye.